fantasy audience. Found on major platforms serving the smart TV market, SportsGrid's real-time data transforms viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Get the best in game live coverage during all the games, as well as the most in-depth pregame previews from hosts like Scott Farrell, Donnie Rightside, Ben Stevens, Gabe Moritzi, and many more. To find out where you can watch SportsGrid, go to sportsgrid.com/watch. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And now, it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, rock cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, rock cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with rock cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters here of Let's Talk Hookup here right next to the San Diego Landings in Point Loma, and we have a great guest for you, Captain Brandon Hayward from Bite Sport Fishing Charters. He operates right out of Fisherman's Landing there next door to us, and we're going to be talking sword fishing, tuna, and a whole bunch more, so you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, 1090 AM, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rockcod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me, book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136, or check kingfishercharters.com.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your San Diego County Ford dealers is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains, get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealers today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
If you're into saltwater fishing, listen to this. Saturday, November 2nd, it's Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Hi, this is Doug Kern. We are pulling out all the stops on this one. Over 20 manufacturers reps like Shimano and Power Pro. Check out all the Shimano
Hey,
and
this
Power
spot
Pro
should not be running,
now, like the
JP. I don't
all-new
know what's going
Talladega
on.
Series reel.
It's not on the
Backed by
log.
popular demand, the Shimano Tranks casting
Let me look at the
concept.
logs right
Cast
now.
a Shimano Tranks 500 and a Shimano Terramar 90H rod and show your surface iron casting skill. You'll see Shimano Terramar is the perfect rod to handle tough fish.
All these Tackle Day spots should be gone.
I see what happened. Pete, I'll have the rest of it fixed.
Okay,
With the
thanks.
Shimano Tranks 500 reel. Shimano's X-Ship and HEG technologies in the Shimano Tranks combine to provide massive cranking power with a smooth and effortless retrieve. It's our biggest sale of the year, Tackle Day at Fisherman's Landing. Unbelievable pricing on tackle, clothing, and accessories. Saturday, November 2nd.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. So cool to get to have Brandon in here. Lots to talk about. Good fishing, swording going on. It's going to be a fun show.
Well, obviously, it's Sunday, November 3rd,
Yeah,
the day after Tackle Day.
Yeah,
that was a little bit of error on
I wasn't
that
going to
last
mention
spot.
that part, but yes.
But great Tackle Day
It was.
yesterday.
Wasn't that good? Yeah, we were
really good.
We were really, really stoked. Just an awesome day. The weather was beautiful. The sales were really good. Tons of people came out. It was just one of those things that you're stoked. We were really happy to get to offer such good deals, and you know that's our family, the guys that buy the gear from us, and they were stoked to get it. It was just an awesome day. A lot of money
the sky
raised.
opened up last night.
Yeah,
How
after
about
we were
that?
done and put away, and you know, there's always like
it's good timing.
early November. I mean, it's San Diego. Your odds are pretty good that it's going to be good weather, but you know, it's November. There's always a possibility, and you start. You know, we put so much effort into that day. seminars and sales and people and all the work.
Right.
And like, you just hope that the weather, doesn't put a kibosh on things. And then when there was a little bit of rain looming, it's always, man, I hope not. And it just worked out
Just
perfect.
held off
Just a rad day.
long enough.
Yeah, we were really stoked.
Rollo did fantastic.
I heard,
Michael Tim Baker and the guys helping out there have had a fantastic day raising money to take kids fishing. And I mean, the sales you guys had were unbelievable.
It was pretty spectacular.
If you missed it, you really missed it.
I think it was our best one ever. I think it was our best one.
As far as sales go?
I mean, if deals go, it was just,
there were some deals.
It was really good.
Yeah.
We had Talicas for 20% off and free Spectra, like of your choice. If you're a guy that likes hollow or solid or max quattro or multicolor, whatever, like you got to pick. It was no cheap thing that you were stuck with. It was really good. Yeah, it was a very special
I even
sale.
saw Captain Brandon Hayward shopping around over there this morning.
I wasn't early enough.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to be back.
Great to have you. You were on your way out swordfish fishing.
Yeah, we went yesterday. We had a bite.
Yeah.
Didn't connect on it, but that 2 minutes was the most exciting part of my week.
Yeah. So, but you've been connecting here with a few, huh?
We've caught 2. Dylan's caught 2 on Mexicats, which is something I would have liked to connect on more, pulling hooks and missed bites and just the variance of that fish. You can run really, really hot for a few trips and you can be on the other side of it. You know what I mean? So that was not the best week for us, unfortunately. But when you look around at the landscape, we've caught 2 and I don't see anyone else who's caught 2. So we're doing it. And the grade of fish, like we were talking about earlier, the fact that when you put a bait down right now, you have a shot. I look at it, the shot of a 400 plus pounder. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And usually you got to go to not to interrupt, but you got to go to Tasmania or New Zealand to have a shot like that. In Louisiana, they don't catch them much bigger than 200 pounds. And in Florida, that's a good fishery, but there's a lot of small fish and it's more mixed up. So dare you say the best place in the world right now for a 400-pound swordfish is San Diego?
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, pretty wild.
Really cool.
That's what I was going to say. And I didn't mean to interrupt, but it seems like there's been more over that mark than there's been under this year, or at least every bit as much. Like, it's crazy.
Yep. I ran over in Gaff Neal's, your boat partners. Just the sight of that fish is just like, whoa.
How big was that?
433 was how big his fish was. And with as insane as that is, to catch a 400 pounder, 10, 15 miles from where we tie the boat up, the day before they pulled on one for 2.5 hours with a good friend of ours who does deep set buoy fishing. And they had that fish. And unfortunately it pulled at 2.5 hours. He said less than 20 feet from the boat. I mean, they were staring at it. The fish came with jump. And they said that fish was significantly larger than the 433 that they got. Not a little bit, not the same size, but clearly bigger.
And then, of course, state record was caught.
Yeah,
right?
Luke with that 666 or 660 something.
I'd be scared to stick a gaff in that thing, right?
There's a lot that goes into that.
Man.
There's a lot that goes into that fish. So yeah, we've played cat and mouse with it since 2019 when it kind of the breakout season, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Cool. So that's kind of your gig right now, and you're down to 2 boats now, right?
I'm down to 2 boats, which is nice. I have the Freeman, and then we sold the Parkers. They were great boats, and they still are great boats. And I wanted to bridge. I want an all catamaran fleet because it works for me, and our customers like it. And I wanted to bridge a pilot house design with the catamaran, so I married those 2 things. And we have that 26-foot Mexicat, which I just took delivery of a month and a half ago.
It's such a cool boat.
It's a cool boat. Where is Mexico? Is it made in Mexico?
It is. Well, it was made we laid the hull up here. We put the house on here. We painted it and did a lot of the extra things in Mexico to kind of save and be able to use real paint.
So it's a custom. It's a custom.
It's a custom boat. It's a custom build. So his shop is in Ensenada, and usually he makes a lot of smaller boats. Like Dylan's one of my best friends who I grew up with, and he works for us year round. Yeah, but he does. He really heads up the swordfish end of things. So he has a 14-footer, which everyone knows he's caught 7 or 8 solo swordfish on it.
Yeah, a 14-footer.
Yeah.
He is a swordfish effing scientist, man. Like he's got it.
He has it, and he has a lot of gifts in life, and one of those gifts is when he super focuses on something. He super focuses on something and does it.
Really cool to see.
But yeah, so it's good having those 2 boats, and I think for where we're at in the landscape right now, nobody needs 3 boats. You know what I mean? The 2 fit the bill perfect. So the Mexicat will do its lobster Catalina type thing. I'm looking forward to running that boat myself, and we're going to do that after swordfish. And then we have the Freeman that if a guy calls and he wanted to fish that yellowfin tuna, you could actually go and do it on that boat.
That's great. That's true.
Yeah.
You got the speed and the range and the time.
Yep.
So
you're still doing Catalina?
Yeah, we still do all the same things. Everything in all fishing ebbs and flows, and what you create and what you put out there is what you're going to run and do. So we've put more emphasis into swordfish the last few falls, but we still do that Catalina lobster thing, and I'd love to do more swordfish up there. Just San Diego's been the hotbed for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, how has the Catalina lobster thing been going?
We only did one set on kind of a combo trip with people who just wanted
early in the
enough.
season.
Yeah, they wanted enough for dinner. So we did it close to Avalon in a spot that's been hit pretty hard. We caught 3 out of one set. But the Gale Force and the Triton and those sport boats, they're doing well. Mm-hmm. The Santa Monica Bay is good for the guys at Redondo Sport Fishing. Like our lobster fishery in the recreational zones is very, very healthy. Very healthy.
And so are you still doing it with Bite Sport Fishing? You're still doing the same program? Sea bass, bluefin tuna, swordfish, lobster. It's still the same program.
Maybe even more so. We split the boats up for sea bass season, and one lives up in Oxnard because the Channel Islands are the best place to catch a sea bass. Where when I started, I built my entire business around one fish in one area, right? I was very, very naive.
One-man charters.
I was very naive in how that could have worked out, but the stars aligned and somehow it worked out.
Yeah.
So now we split our time for sea bass, and that's one boat doing Catalina out of Huntington Beach and one boat doing Oxnard. You guys
have had such tremendous fishing in that Channel Island sea bass fishing in the last couple of years. How was that this year in compare? Like, it just looked so fun seeing Jake and all the photos and social media and catching those fish up in shallow and casting lures and all that. Did that fishery happen, or did that bite happen again this year?
It did. It was good fishing. It started a little bit later. We didn't get that April big fish, which seems like every third year you get that April. April and November are your kind of swing months, right? But if you can make it those 2 months, you're doing really good. It did happen, and we were catching them in 2 feet of water, throwing slugs at them. Like the different styles that we've used for that fish since I started, from developing that bobber fishing in the kelp after the squid ended, and people are like, there won't be any sea bass, and to the fluke fishing now and everything. It's really neat. That fish has the most gears, believe it or not, of any fish in California. It just gets pegged as a dropper loop catfish, but it's not at all.
No. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
And I have a vested interest in that fish and a crazy connection to it.
Totally.
But from bird schools on the beach to the bobber fishing to fishing them in the kelp, using the flukes, the only thing we don't get anymore is like legit bait grounds fishing. Like everyone thinks Catalina bait grounds, the V's.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That hasn't happened since I've owned this business.
Yeah. Is that right?
I can count on the number of bait grounds trips I put together at Catalina on one hand.
So when's that kind of start? That whole sea bass thing?
Now, I feel like the only month I don't have total confidence in is September. You could go to Catalina or the coast right now, and if you had 3 days to really work at it and do it, you could put a catch together. November, there's always fish local and there, but really January, February, like a winter type thing is when I kind of reset and click it back and do that.
Yeah.
So
the season comes, and is that big fish still around? I mean, people are saying, oh, they're not catching as many big fish as they used to, but
sea bass? Yeah, it's not how it was during the heyday from 2010 to 14 with the squid and everything here, but we still catch 50 and 60 pounders at the islands, and I only caught one local this year, but a little bit of kelp sprouted back up and actually caught a local sea bass, which was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So that
was local available. Sea bass right off of PB there.
Yeah.
And bait grounds and stuff.
Yeah, that happened this summer too. So my own scope of sea bass fishing, once that happens and there's a lot of boats and it's local, like I don't really want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? So I don't mix it up too much in that landscape.
You guys have had such tremendous success in all of the trophy type fisheries that you target, whether it be the sea bass or the big tunas or big swordfish. Do you have a personal favorite? Like, does one get you more fired up if it's really good tuna fishing?
It's still the sea bass.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
It's still the sea bass. Like sliding into a spot at Catalina, and you see everything's aligned. We have the proper current and the proper everything, and it's like a page out of In the Gray.
Yeah.
Those moments are pretty exciting, but the swordfish is right there behind it.
Yeah,
right there behind it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you had to choose one or the other,
I'd take the sea bass.
Yeah. You're the sea bass king, man.
Take the sea bass.
Yeah. Nothing like that.
That fish still does
and don't you love those all-nighters too? And just
I like it all when they're biting.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they stop
That's
biting or I'm looking for them. And I always say I like to be challenged with that fish until it's challenging. And then, but the all-nighter part,
Yeah. What about that wintertime yellow at Catalina? I mean,
Yeah.
like the combo yellow sea bass, lobster.
Yeah, that's my goal in January.
Yeah.
That 1 year when we had that good fishing at Freddy's, that we ran 21 days in January. That was a big
big deal.
So
and that's typically when we get the best weather.
I think like January is an extension of fall, and it's not totally winter yet. And April is winter. It's getting people to go that time of year. But we leave at 4 a.m. We fish in the morning. We slide into Avalon, have a lunch, have a nap, eat lobsters, get a golf cart, whatever you want to do. If you want to get off the boat and go on the island, and then in the afternoon we do lobsters. Most of the trips we do fish like a day and a half trip, but given our speed and abilities to kind of do things, you can do it in a day,
That's
still
cool.
Do the trips and spend the night on the island and stay at the hotels and do all that. Yeah. Our goal is to build a custom fishing experience. I have no rules,
Yeah.
So rad.
And wherever the bluefin tunas are, I'm going to bring the boats up there so they're the closest to the fish.
That is so cool.
I love that about you guys too.
Such a great concept.
We've had so many customers that I booked a trip and we were going to go tuna fishing here, and we talked to Brandon last week and that fish moved here, so now we're picking up our gear and we're running up the coast 50 miles because I just love it. You're not stationary. You do whatever the best thing for your customers
If
is.
San Nicolas and SBI are going to be the backdrops that you're flying the kite into now, I mean, you kind of have to be up there.
Yeah.
And you spent a lot of time up there with bluefin this year, right?
That's
where it was.
All up there, which is pretty neat. It's the cool thing about the bluefin is at this point we've caught them everywhere.
Yeah,
I've caught them behind
real.
Anacapa. I've caught them behind Santa Cruz. I've on hot and glassy days flown the kite into Santa Rosa Island.
That's wild.
For a
That's
backdrop.
wild. How cool.
And have never gone above Point Conception to fish them. Whereas with sea bass, I would follow that fish up past Conception. I fished llama before. So we've checked all the boxes with bluefin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty crazy.
You guys dabbled your fingers, was it last year, into taking the boat all the way up and catching albacore?
Oh, yeah, we did that.
I thought was so cool. And I don't know how it was or wasn't, but I just thought that was such again, just in the terms of that's what bite sport fishing does. Like you pick a custom cool thing and you do it, whether it's lobsters or sea bass or fish. I thought that was so rad.
It was neat. We caught fish, but we got up there a little bit too late.
Okay.
We want to be up there in August. It's the weather.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's so hard. Like you could plan.
We live in a kiddie pond here compared to that, right?
Absolute swimming pool compared to up there. So yeah, it's like everything has to line with the weather and everything. But it's so intriguing to me. There's big eyes up there, and it's just something different.
So cool. But like you say, how do you run a business on something where a guy books 3 months in advance, but the odds of having a weather window on that day are slim and none.
Yep, it was tough, but we tried it, and I'm open to doing it again. But just my takeaway from it was the weather, getting up there in time, and everything. Yeah.
What do you think? We gonna have bluefin next year?
I think that fish is here. I think it's taking on different shapes and different trajectories and different grades, and the landscape. I don't want to say they've lost that loving feeling with bluefin, but it's just this status quo now. And it's also like a year. I was talking to Jake about this last night. It starts in March when the Polaris Supreme or whoever catches them, and it goes until November. You could go catch that fish right now, but there's just not the interest.
Right.
Whereas seasons 2, 3, 4 with it, November 60 Mile Bank, everyone's running full, and it was a novelty.
Yes.
So we'll have bluefin. It's here. At some point it'll change, but I don't see that happening next year.
Did your charters take advantage of some of that phenomenal yellowtail fishing we had at the Coronado Islands?
We did. I think that was the backstop that saved every small charter operation around here, because there wasn't the local tunas and everything, which I never saw that coming. Yeah, totally. Cool. And that bluefin at SKR is that's an art in itself, cool. And that's something that we've done. You don't get it every year, but that's always been something that's kind of in my repertoire.
Yeah.
So to have that's really, really, really neat too.
It's pretty special.
Yeah, but thank God for the Coronados, because if not, it's already tough enough, because if you charge different rates and you have island rates from a business perspective and you fish the islands all year, it's a different everything, right?
Yeah. So, you got the FMM, you've got the Mexican permits,
right?
I mean, this is a lot of money.
There's a lot of moving parts in it. So and you have to talk your people into a little bit, because people who book 2 months in advance are not saying, I want to fish the Coronados in August.
People have to have a passport. Yep. Right.
Yeah. So thank God for that, and thank God for that backstop. But we need local kelp fish and wide open yellowfin and the bluefin.
Nice.
Yep.
We'll take it all.
Totally.
The grade of the island's anchor bluefin was really special this year. I mean, just catching a bluefin tuna with your anchor on the ground at the Coronado Islands just in itself is like very cool. The history that's behind it and all that stuff. But to see the size of the fish that we had this year, that's what was
really neat.
40 pounder out. Something else.
Jake had a trip, no exaggeration. They caught a calico bass a 25-pound halibut and a bluefin on almost consecutive casts on the same anchor job in 90 feet of water.
How cool is
So that's
that?
pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
that is
cool.
pretty cool. So, if somebody says, "Hey, Brandon, I want to go catch a swordfish,"
Yep.
How do they do it?
Well, the first thing I say is you're playing a really high risk game of gambling. So you have to have real expectations. And I tell them you can go anywhere in the world for this fish. You can do it here, but the success rate isn't sky high, right? Do you have that? Do you have that gamble in you? And if they say yes, or a lot of people want to learn, like a lot of people who have success now have success because they went with us a couple of years ago, you know?
Sure.
So I say, let's go. It's awesome. I love doing it. The guys love doing it. The guys are incredibly skilled at it. We all have our own techniques and everything.
Is it a half-day trip, 3/4 day trip?
Everything we do is a very, very full day. So we meet at sunrise and we come home at sunset or after sunset. If a guy said I want to go, if a guy said I want to go for a half day, like Wednesday, Jake's going to go do a drift for swordfish and come in the bay and catch lobsters because he's one of the guys who usually goes to Catalina, does lobster for us. He's not super into the sword, but he wants to try it and check it out once. So we're going to try that.
Yeah.
But to have success, it's a be here early, 6 a.m. and get home at 6 p.m. type deal.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. Time change now. It's going to change a little bit of things.
It was interesting this morning. I was like, the sun's up. Yeah. So it'll change things a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's
and how much does that cost to do a sword trip?
It's $29.50 on the Mexicat, and I'm still honoring last year's pricing on the Freeman, so it's $3,500 on the Freeman.
And you can have up to 4 people on that.
You can have 6 on the Freeman, and that Mexicat fishes well with three or 4. That Mexicat is really for my existing clientele. That's like groups of 1 or 2 or 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How big is the Mexicat?
It's 26 feet.
26.
Your bow's wide open, which is really cool.
So cool.
It's a nice
you guys
boat.
built such a cool layout with that thing. It really,
It's unique.
You described it as a blend between your cat that you have now in the Freeman and a Parker, and it really is that. Like it's got the comfort and dryness of the house and a place to sit down and a place to be.
I feel like it's all elements. My favorite riding 23 was that Maritime that we had. They were designed by the designer, the commercial division of Boston Whaler. Incredible riding boat. Had that boat in Mexico for 8 years for personal use. Love that thing. But we love the pilot house of the Parker and getting out of weather. And the West Coast is such a pilot house centric mindset, And then the stability of a catamaran and the ability to fish in the bow, having access to your bow, because your stern and your bow are almost the same width. So that was an element on the Parkers that we couldn't fish from comfortably or totally safe. You know what I mean? And it's okay to say that because that boat's not designed to have 4 people fishing in the bow.
Right.
A catamaran is. And fuel consumption, I get 3 times better fuel economy with that thing. So I've been able to make a boat where I charge less than I did for the Parker right now. And I'll be able to charge even less once I kind of pay myself back for the build on it.
In a brand new boat.
In a brand new boat.
That's cool.
Yeah. And what do you power it with?
That has twin 150 Yamahas, and we could have put 115s on it.
Really?
Yeah, catamaran. You're operating with air as much as you're operating with water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You learn a lot about the cat thing.
Learned a lot about the cat thing. I'm flirting with selling the Freeman and buying an Invincible, which the fit and finish is nicer. There's seating and all that other stuff. And looking at the 2 models of how the 2 top catamarans were built is really interesting. It'd be a whole
Invincible and Freeman are like the top 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, for years, Freeman there was a 4-year wait to get one of those.
That's insane.
Insane. And so as things have shifted, that wait's not as long. But other boat builders, including Invincible, started offering catamarans because what's the purpose of business?
Yeah, sure.
There's a problem. People can't get one of these boats in 4 years. Let's do it.
Yeah,
so Invincible went to Morelli and Melvin, which is right here on Shelter Island, which was the leader of catamaran design using hydrodynamics and computers and all this other stuff, where Freeman's a blue-collar guy who built the ultimate boat in his backyard to scale and did all of this.
Interesting.
The 2 disparities of them is incredible.
You were talking about Camus building catamarans too, West Coast Marine.
They make a 30 and a 35. Yeah, I haven't checked those out, but I'm very
those are
curious
supposed to be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Benny Florentino's running the Camus, but it's not a cat. It's the monohull.
Right.
So they do kind of both.
Yeah.
They dabble in both.
I had the second Freeman on the West Coast. You give credit where credit's due. Billy Kay showed that this is a great boat, and there's people who will pay this amount to do it, to go on a $500,000+ catamaran. You know what I mean? But now there's at least 40.
Yeah,
I've done
40?
There's at least 40
No.
Freemans. My Freeman was the first Freeman on the Pacific Coast. Not that it matters, but it doesn't matter. But there's more than 40 of these Go Fast catamaran center consoles that are just Freemans.
Unreal.
And you see more than a couple handfuls of
Grady
Invincible.
White makes a catamaran. I mean, there's several
really? Okay.
companies that make them.
Yeah. It's because the old catamaran designs were clunky and didn't quarter well, and people hold on to this belief.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's not true.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, there's a mystique about this thing from 30 years ago.
Just zoom out. The rest of the world, including the Gulf states, ride fish catamarans.
Yeah.
They rank 90-mile runs. Nowhere else on planet Earth do they try to make 80-mile runs in monohull pilot houses.
Yeah.
It's not throwing shade or being rude. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's an asinine concept.
So what do you see? What's the contrast between, you've run both monohulls and catamarans? What's the contrast between the two?
Stability, fuel economy, the ability to treat your bow like it's your stern.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, those are the major
So what's
things.
the
Fuel economy,
detractions from a catamaran? What's
price?
like? Oh,
price
okay.
costs twice as much as a monohull.
Oh, is that right?
Twice as much material.
Twice as much motor and maintenance and such like that.
Well, for me, I did the hard math on it, and the MexiCap bridged everything. Your outboard engines become an incredible liability, which I've discussed before. And like when you put this into a business plan and model, you see like, whoa, this is my biggest liability. I just cut my repower costs in more than half.
Because
West
you're
Coast
repowering
just
with
serviced
it.
the 150s, and I got the bill, and I'm like, whoa, this is.
Where's the rest of it?
Where's the rest of it? This is 60% less than my bill for the 28.
Then a 300 or something.
Twin 300s.
Yeah.
I get 2.7, 2.5, 2.6.
Really?
I got 0.9 on the Parkers, 1.1.
Wow.
But you have a pilot house.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And
Who knows? Maybe Brandon Hayward will be going into the boat business.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for today. A lot to talk about with Captain Brandon
Keep
Hayward.
rolling for a bit.
Yeah. No.
Oh, well, now we're going to keep rolling.
Yeah. No
Little
doubt
technical
about
thing
that.
here.
Boats, in the end, boats are trade-offs like everything in life, any sort of fill in the blank. There's huge cases like a 39-foot monohull with a Seakeeper might be the ultimate boat for bluefin because it's bigger than a 34 and you're landing on two waves.
Right.
So it's whatever works for you, but this is the model that I'm choosing to move forward with.
Yeah.
The thing is too, you do a lot of different things with these boats, and so much as I just can't get over that Freeman, like that you can put four guys shoulder to shoulder and all cast at a spot of bluefin or cast on the bow when you're at the islands or whatever it might be. Like it really is. I mean, the whole boat can be up there.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty cool.
That wasn't the case in a previous boat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, as you can hear, great show lined up for today. We're ready to roll now.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Going to be a lot of fun. If you want to join us, man, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call this morning at 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090 is how you reach us on the phones, or send us a text. There's already so many great texts that have come through this morning. And if you want to send us a text, that's only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. It's the easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. And you can check all the archives. You can listen on your way home from work. It's a great way. And the only way to send in your questions to Brandon today is through that app. And when you do, make sure you include your contact info. Just a name and a phone number is all we need to make sure we can get back to you, because we're giving away a great prize today. And that is a full-day trip going fishing on board the San Diego with Captain Matt Bralla, Captain Ryan Bostian, a full-day trip. And I just want to give a real quick thanks to Captain Matt Bralla from the San Diego, who came to Tackle Days yesterday.
Great seminar.
Man, he did a good seminar. That
Yeah.
guy, I mean, obviously they're, he and Gavin with their Captain Concepts, I mean, that's kind of what they're known for, is providing really good info. And, it was so good. So,
He's a busy guy, man, between Two Fish Jigs,
Yeah.
Captain's Concepts, and, of course, his real job running the San Diego.
He is and is going to continue to be very successful for that reason. It's
Yeah,
a lot of
a
stuff.
hard
and
worker.
It is. And that seminar was fantastic. So I really appreciate Captain Matt, and appreciate the fact that somebody's going to get to go fishing with him or Captain Boog on a full day trip on board the San Diego. When we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. So much great fishing info coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Catine, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
All of us at the American Angler family want to express appreciation to our regular passengers that fish with us year after year, and to the new anglers that came out this last season. We realize how precious your vacation time is, and we are truly grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with us. It's important that your experience is memorable, from the moment you call the office to the time you step off the boat. Hi, I'm Lori. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. Come fishing with the American Angler family and make a memory.
Whether you're fly fishing, bottom fishing, net fishing, or just sitting on the water thinking about fishing, remember, a good day in the water starts with everyone wearing a life jacket. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
It's time for the Power Pro 30-second seminar. I like catching big fish, and I like smaller reels too. How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro, so you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of highly effective lines, including the brand new Power Pro Depth Hunter Offshore with different colors every 100 feet. Perfect for flatfall fishing. Want to learn more? Check powerpro.com.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels with the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities. Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting VanWarmerResorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. Phones are rolling through. Texts are rolling through. What a great day this is.
Yeah, that's Captain Brandon Hayward, Bite Sport Fishing Charters, talking all kinds of fun stuff with
back in the mix.
Brandon. Yeah, I'm just fascinated with this whole catamaran thing because back in the day, it was always like, oh, catamarans, those things, like they sneeze a lot and they're not really good going down swell.
Right.
Well, I the only time I've really experienced a catamaran was over in Midway Island. We fished on these, I forget what kind of catamarans they were.
Oh yeah, Dylan lived out there.
Yeah, and they were cool, you know, and the weather's rough out there.
Right.
And I think that's why they did.
You get to drive one today at 12:02. You can slide it right out of the dock.
There you go. But it's just fascinating. Has design changed on catamarans? Is that where they're better?
Massively.
Yeah.
Monohulls and catamarans has changed, and they have what's called vented hulls now. So those little steps you see up the side.
Oh.
So as you come up on plane, you'll feel the steps. You'll break off steps and get on plane pretty fast.
I see.
And then air travels through all of that. And so by doing that and trimming up your engines, you don't even have trim tabs. You can pretty much fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So no,
is it scary sometimes you go too fast, you can flip over?
I bought that boat in San Jose del Cabo.
Yeah.
And I brought it up the entire Gulf on this incredible 2-phase journey.
Yeah.
Literally. And when I drove it the first time, I was legitimately scared. Like I've never gone that fast in a boat. And I grew up working on sport boats going, 10 knots and driving all night. So it's totally different.
Huh.
Sidebar, I want to throw a shout out to my kids who are listening.
Oh.
Ella, good job on your sea bass and your yellowtail this year. And I appreciate when you come out on the boat. I know it's not always your thing, but we love having you and I love you very much. And Fit and Know, it's awesome doing our thing together. So I love you guys.
Cool. I was hoping the boys were like, Brandon's got a legit crew now that's really fun for us at the tackle store to see the boys tagging along and working on the boat, and
it's really neat.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was hoping they were going to be.
Are they watching on Facebook, YouTube Live? Are they listening on the app? Or are they listening on 1090?
You know, like you said,
so many
like you said
things.
15 years ago, radio's a theater of the mind.
Yes.
So I think they're listening.
They're
the
listening.
radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
But
they know what Dad looks like.
They do. I went on a 7-day with Finn on the Royal Star.
Yeah. How cool was that
Alex ran
trip,
it.
huh?
I like going with them because talk about a polished operation and that a model you can look at that's incredible. And it was on the heels of that 100 fish wahoo day they had the next trip. So Jake, Finn, and I went, and it was the best you can imagine on a 7-day trip.
Wow.
We fished like the greatest 10-day, which was really neat.
That's rad.
Really.
And
wahoo, all that yellowfin.
It was
yellowtail.
Yeah, we had like 70 wahoo the 2 days at Alejos.
70 wahoo.
We all got a 60-pounder, Jake, Finn, and I.
Oh.
Yeah. And good tunas there. Reminded me of 15 years ago at the Rocks, good grade of tuna. And then we slid in and Browntown, as Alex put it, one anchor job and just tuna on the corner.
That's so rad.
That's so
epic
cool.
yellowtail buddy. I got a 75-pound yellowtail.
Oh my
God. On the cover of the newspaper.
That's Bob Dawson from Dawson Insurance
Bob
Services.
Dawson. And he was great to fish with.
He called
and
me
spend time
from the boat when he caught that fish. He goes, "Hey, Pete, it's Bob Dawson." He says, "I just caught a 75-pound yellowtail." And it's like, cool. I was like, "Are you calling me from the Royal Star?" It's like, "Yeah."
Starlink, baby.
Like Starlink.
Yeah, it was the most
He
proportion.
was so excited about that. But Bob's like 80 something, right?
He's
and
doing it.
he's a stud.
Smoking cigs and
Yeah.
catching 75-pound
I know.
yellows. Let's go.
75, and so he's on the front page of Western Outdoor News.
Yeah.
So,
So
check
rad.
that picture out because
Really cool.
Yeah, and then they also Western Outdoor News all information about the upcoming Los Cabos Tuna Jackpot tournament coming up this weekend.
Yeah, they're
right?
catching some nice ones down there.
Yeah, so that should be a big deal.
Yeah.
So check out the Western Outdoor News
and,
and see Bob's fish. He's so proud of that fish, as he should be.
Yeah, no doubt.
75. How many 75-pound yellows do you catch on the West
Do you
Coast?
remember when Darren at the tackle shop got that 72-pounder or whatever it was? That was the first trip I worked on the Excel.
Yeah.
And that yellowtail looked like a spawned out porpoise.
It was very odd. Big round head.
Remember that
yeah,
fish?
I totally do.
And I've seen other 70s at Guadalupe, but this one was the most proportioned yellowtail you've ever seen. It was
a
such an
giant.
amazing fish.
Yeah.
When they get big like that, they don't often look that way.
Yeah.
We have one hanging in the wall at the tackle store that's my favorite yellowtail ever. It was an 88-pounder. But the thing that's so cool about it is it might as well be a 12-pounder from – it might as well be a 12-pound fish from La Jolla that you just computer made bigger.
I
Like
think
it's,
they're the same,
and you're right. Yeah, 70-pounders often look funky. They got a giant head and a skinny body or whatever it is. But for a fish to be perfectly proportioned like that.
And what a
it's
guy
really
to catch
cool.
it.
So
Really
yeah,
cool.
Bob is
Bob's
super.
awesome.
So anyways,
super good
the
guy.
7-day was amazing.
Yeah, and the Royal Star, what an operation.
It's just a great craft.
Yeah.
Every
Alex
every
was running the
element of it.
boat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Customer
He's a
service
master.
skills and fishing skills. And
He's got some skill.
most of the long range guys, or all of them, they have this incredible presence,
Yes.
different presence. Andy has a different presence
Right.
than Tim or Rand,
Yeah.
you know.
Speaking
his
of Andy
presence
Cates,
is
he'll be here
incredible.
next Sunday.
Oh,
1
he's
week from today.
fun. Cool.
Yeah, we roped him in.
maybe the funniest
Sunday.
guy in sport fishing.
Yeah,
his dry
he's a
humor
character.
is
Yeah,
just
totally.
the best.
Yeah.
If you get it. To some people, it might be lost on them.
Love Andy.
Yeah.
So he's tough to get.
Neat.
And finally, like nailed him down. It's like, can you come next Sunday? He's like, yeah.
And only about having a good time.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's concerned about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
That's cool.
His,
that's gonna be something.
his seminar on the trip, you have to go on the Rooster one time just to hear his seminar on the way
Yeah.
down. It's like
That's cool.
part comedy hour and incredibly educational.
Yeah,
So,
super good guy. Well, hey, phones are packed, texts are packed up. They want to talk to Brandon. Let's jump into it,
That
Rick.
sounds good. Why don't we start off on the phones with Brady, who's called us from Costa Mesa this morning. Brady, thanks for getting us started here on the phones. Yo, Brady. Well, looks like we might have lost Brady. So in the meantime, we got a great text standing by from Sean in Chula Vista. Says, hey, I'm really bummed that I had to miss tackle day yesterday. I really wanted to enter the casting contest, being an avid iron chucker myself. No doubt the reel was exciting, but I was more excited to hear about the opportunity to be on the next Jig Chuckers Ball trip. Brandon, could you talk a little bit more about that? And he also wants to know what the longest casting distance was to the winner. And then also wanting to know if you've ever thought about putting together a Cedros trip with one of your boats.
Oh, those are good questions. Jig Chuckers Ball, you know, I own a journal called the Bite Journal, and we haven't done a new one since COVID. Few different factors, but I'm 100% committed to doing two more, like in that fashion, then making it like a coffee table style book. So I talked to Booger and Ryan on the San Diego, and we're going to bring that trip back and do it in an element where passengers could come and buy a ticket and kind of fish with the legends. Because the cool thing about fishing, you can't go swing a golf club with Tiger Woods or fill in the blank or play football with whoever. But in fishing, it's such a cool blue collar trade that you can like mix it up with like great people like Matt. And
totally.
So we're going to bring that trip back and hash out the details of it. So that's the deal there. A trip out of Cedros, that Freeman can go anywhere, do anything, and it's such a cool platform. And I've thought how neat that would be, but just due to politics and the way that things work in Mexico, I don't think that's possible. But on the best of days, San Clemente Island can still mirror that. You can still have great bass fishing, catch 100 bass a day, and catch a yellow on the surface iron outside Lost Point in the middle of winter, and have a technical element to it. So that's always available to us.
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of San Clemente Island, Captain Benny Florentino sent me a picture of a calico bass from Clemente. Look at the size of that thing, huh?
Lord.
On a 2-fish jig.
Oh, nice.
Says he was so excited. It says 2-fish cast iron San Clemente Island. Thanks for having Matt and I do the seminar on calico bass fishing yesterday at Tackle Day. Great sale and great meeting and seeing all the anglers. Great show. Info from Captain Brandon Hayward. So that's from Benny Florentino.
Is there a person in this industry that is a better representative of product and people than Ben Florentino?
Benny Florentino is the man.
That guy is
is the ultimate tackle rep.
He is so knowledgeable and he's so forthcoming with that, and he's so good with people and loyal to the brands that he's part of, and just just an awesome guy. And again, just honored to have him be a part of our Tackle Day. It's just not more polished fishing people out there than Ben. And then
his son too.
That was what was so cool yesterday, getting to have a father-son duo do our seminar with Ben and Matt, and Matt's new position with Salty Crew. It was just rad.
Yeah,
very, very fun. Good to have you, Benny.
Now, is that a special edition, the Fisherman's Landing Salty Crew?
Scope that out.
Are they going to sell those?
Yeah, for sure. They were available for sale yesterday at Tackle Day, and then a whole bunch coming in. This is just a Salty Crew T-shirt that they're making.
Fisherman's Landing.
That has the old school. If you remember back in the day, like the iconic sign that was on the top of the old building was like my favorite thing.
Right.
I worked there when I was a teenager, and that neon sign, sport fishing with the marlin jumping, and it's just such a cool soul thing. And Jared said that that's something that he's always wanted, that sign was so synonymous with sport fishing that so it's just a regular Salty Crew shirt available for purchase everywhere. That they literally got them finished the day before Tackle Day. So we will have.
Where is that sign? Does it still exist?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Who has it now?
It was purchased by It was purchased by a company who buys things like that for movie props. So it wasn't purchased with a prop in mind. So it's like, Doug told me this, like it's in some field somewhere where a company owns a ton of like things just like that. So one of these days we'll all probably be watching some weird Netflix movie and like, oh my God, there's the sign from Fisherman's Landing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's owned by a company that does that.
How bizarre.
Yeah, one of these days it'll probably pop up somewhere.
Right,
really, really cool from those
Let's
guys.
try the phones again.
All right, that sounds good. Brady from Costa Mesa, you still got us there? Good morning, Brady. Looks like he might have popped off. Well, how about we jump back in for Hills calling us from Ventura. Hey, Hills, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm wondering, Brandon, do you and Jake, when you're fishing the, Santa Cruz and Santa Rosa and all that, do you guys try and catch some halibut while you're out there too? Because I've actually done that, and it can be really good.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we do a lot of that. You catch a lot of that incidental for sea bass. That fluke fishery. Fishing that fluke on a bass rod has been a great way to fish the last couple of years, and Jake's a master of it. So you catch a lot of halibut coming and going, and we target it as well. And our halibut fishery from, call it now until the spring, has been a real incredible thing the last couple of years. It doesn't get the limelight in the press of the swordfish or the tunas or the sea bass, but there's guys who catch 50 halibut on an overnight trip now and such. Like, it's a great fishery, like mirrors the San Francisco Bay for some windows during the winter and the spring. So yeah, we catch lots of halibut, have trips for 4, 6, 8, 12 halibut to go with our sea bass. And then anytime you're fishing that bait grounds at Santa Rosa, you catch monster halibut up there. That's a great fishery up there. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Great fishery.
You just have to have the weather window.
Yeah, the Freeman is nice up there because you can, even if it's bumpy, you aim it for Anacapa, you come up the back of the islands in good weather and travel at a high rate of speed, and you can fish. I've fished Miguel, Rosa, and Santa Cruz all on the same trip. On
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you can make huge jumps at 40 knots.
I guess it's true. Yeah, it shrinks the ocean when you're going that fast.
So where are you leaving from when you do
we
trips
run out of
out?
Channel Island sport fishing,
Channel
the
Island
old Cisco's, better known as Cisco's. So yeah, and we run and work with Sean a lot. My friend that I worked with on the Excel, Sean Stewart, he's the master up there.
He is.
Yeah, he's
Sean Stewart.
the best, and he has an incredible following. And
he owns
cool,
a landing now?
guy. No, he owns the Aloha Spirit and the Gray Light. And the Gray Light has become the 6-pack sea bass boat on the coast.
Wow.
Such a different style than Catalina. It's a lot of sonar fishing up there. Yep, a lot of sonar fishing,
and he's good at that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming here, including a big block of your phones. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Give your boat the love it deserves and install a custom sea deck kit from Blue Seas Fabrication. Blue Seas is the West Coast's only certified sea deck fabricator and installer. Upgrades the feel of any boat, old or new. Sea Deck non-skid decking adds comfort, convenience, safety, and value. Let the experts from Blue Seas Fabrication custom fit your deck, bridge, and interiors with stylish, durable, stain-resistant, and easy-to-clean Sea Deck. Check BlueSeasFabrication.com and enhance your fishing experience.
Offshore fishing is on. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. For bluefin tuna and yellowtail, nothing beats the Shimano Talica, the pinnacle of lever drag 2-speed reels. Shimano's Speedmaster 2 is also an extremely durable, high-performance lever drag reel for the more budget-minded angler. Both the Talica and Speedmaster 2 feature Shimano's Hagani body to prevent misalignment of moving parts under the heaviest of load. For all your Shimano, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet. Fisherman's Landing offers half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day trips on the Liberty. Many trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
This is Bob Hoots at Costa Sunglasses. Visual signs are a critical part of my fishing program, from bay bass to bluefin. I wear Costas to see what's out there. Costas are built with advanced polarization technology with our 580 lens, designed to cut through the sun's glare while providing enhanced color to see more fish. Costa was founded by a group of anglers wanting a high-performance lens for every fishing application. Costa has a West Coast style frame and lens for your adventures. CostaSunglasses.com.
Turner's Outdoorsman, Southern California's #1 shooting, hunting, and fishing tackle retailer since 1971, is right in your neighborhood. Now with stores throughout Southern, Central, and Northern California. No one does it better. Turner's Outdoorsman brings you the best prices and selection, plus a knowledgeable staff that will help make your day on the water or in the field more fun. Stop by your neighborhood Turner's Outdoorsman. To find the location nearest you, check the web at turners.com and sign up for special deals and more.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here. Captain Brandon Hayward in the studio. Lots of great going on, talking bite sport fishing. And it's time to find out what's biting out there. It is time for our catch report today, sponsored by Gamakatsu. Not just all about hooks. There is so much more, including those killer Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try one, you're going to want more. And the new tools that are very special, including those braid scissors, which Rick brought by yesterday. Man, what a cool set of shears. It's braid scissors that are made with ceramic blades. You'll never rust. They're crazy sharp. Really, really cool tools from Gamakatsu. Check out your Gamakatsu dealer, or for more information, you can always check out Gamakatsu.com. We're going to head on up to Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. Talk to the man, Captain Brian Willie's on the line. What up, Willie?
Hey, good morning. Captain there. What's up, Brando?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Poor Brandon has been the recipient of I don't know how many random butt dials in the than anyone on the planet. Yeah,
that's all good.
That's funny.
Well, hey, another good week here for us. the cooler water certainly has kind of settled in, as is the case with this time of year. It's just part of the deal. The red tide is starting to push out. That was kind of a factor for us last week. So with that, the half-day scene did perk up a little bit. Of course, the sunshine helped too. So most of the half-day, though, still the action's been coming off the bottom for our anglers. That's fishing Carolina rigs, reverse dropper loops, stuff like that, getting their presentations down at the bottom. I've been catching the sand bass and the sheephead. Of course, the guys fishing the shrimp and the clam, that exotic bait. I've been catching some nicer sheephead. Seems to fish a little bit better than the live bait. But, plenty of big sheephead will go after that sardine. Some of the biggest sheephead I've seen have been caught on the live bait. So that stuff's been definitely relevant for our half-day guys. The 3/4 day stuff for us right now has pretty much all been a rockfish focus. The routine setups of the double dropper loop baits were both good in the shallower zones down there off of North County there, Camp Pendleton zone, and then also out on the 14. But out in that 100 fathom zone out there on the 14, those guys, again, I know I talked about it last week, those jigs, those guys have been killing it on the jigs, 250, 300 gram jigs, doing really well on the bankies, the chilies, and the bigger picaggio out there. But the quality out there on that bank has been good. It's been kind of a day-to-day. There's been a bit of bait on the bank, so it's been weird. Like the mornings have been tough for us out there as a result of that, I think. And then as we kind of work through the day, it's been better midday to, time for us to go home kind of a deal. So it's been kind of a bide your time deal out there, but it's been very good and the quality's been excellent out there. And then at Clemente, the Fury has had more really good fishing. It's just quintessential, like mixed bag opportunity for them, from sea bass and yellows to limits of whitefish, quality cod, bonito bass. Just a solid week of fall fishing for them. A little bit of wind here has them at the dock today, as is kind of the case. You just got to pick your weather windows here this time of the year for sure. But it's been very good fishing for them out there as they plow through their week. And, the sea bass and the yellows that they're catching, early in the morning, they're on the anchor or whatever, has been, dropper loop fish on the bait, the squid or whatever. And it's quality fish. It's no slouchy small fish. It's all been, drag pulling, good quality stuff. So good fishing for them there. So just, solid fall week across the board, local and out of the island. If you guys want to hop on a trip with us this week, call and make those reservations. Definitely need a resi to, ensure that the boat gets away from the dock this time of year. Our number here, 949-496-5794. Of course, you can hit us on the web, too, at danawharf.com.
Willie, we'll sure take that. We got a nice little week of weather coming our way. Some good fishing to be had. Yeah, we'll handle some more of that just fine.
Absolutely. And, props due to Noah and Ben. We had them on one of our kids' camps week this last summer on the Sump Fun. It was a blast having those boys out there. Brandon's kids. That's right. It was a good time.
They loved it, and they love fishing with you, and that's such a great program for kids. It really lit a fire under them, and it's really cool.
That's cool. And when does that go up for sale? I know it always sells out. How do you get in on that?
So the best is just to call our office, make sure you're on our email list. We'll put it out. Obviously, it goes first rider's views will kind of go to the returning kids that have been with us before, but it'll come out here in the next. I would think in the next month and a half or 2 months. That stuff we try to get it out early because, like you said, it does fill up quick. So just keep your eyes out for that. Check our social media. We'll always make sure we make an announcement before we shoot that stuff.
I have to drop something real quick.
Yeah.
2015, the world changed. This is the favorite top 5. 2014, the world changes. There's tunas 5 miles off the beach, but missed in all that is that every single hard bottom and kelp has schools of yellows on it. So you could go outside and do yellowfin, but in the afternoon I'd come in and fish the kelp line. There'd be no one there except for the 3/4 days, and usually they'd be offshore too. They had the kids camp. I'm set up there. It's good yellowtail fishing, got a 37-pounder on the surface iron, which isn't a normal thing for San Onofre. Wooly comes and sets up outside of me on the kids camp. They throw bait. They hook like, he'll tell better, but I think they hooked like 100 and something yellows, and they landed 7.
They were all giants, huh?
It was something to be seen. Yeah, I mean,
let's hear that, Willie.
Everything in their tackle box. Yeah, I can't remember how many hooks we tied on that day.
So cool, dude. Just kids getting ripped.
Yeah, what a thrill for the kids.
Fun. Really cool. Really cool.
That's good stuff.
All right, brother.
Good to hear you, Willie.
Yeah, and so if you want to get on those kid camps, sign up early, get on the Dana Wharf Sport Fishing web email blast, and get on those things. Hey, thanks, Willie. And how do we get a hold of you again?
Okay. Give it a check, danawharf.com. That's the easiest, or you can call the office 949-496-5794.
You're the best, brother. Appreciate it very much, Willie. We'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Sounds good. Have a great week.
See you, bud.
Appreciate that. Hey, let's head it to surf now. Our surf guru, Gundy Gunderson, is on the line. Gundy, good morning.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? How's it going, Brandon?
Hey, Gundy. Good to hear your voice, man.
Yeah, we're in the transition stage here. We lost a few more ticks on the water temp, 60, 63. We're seeing more of the cool water species. A couple bright spots, though, was some nice halibut taken on the live bait, cool water. The lures don't work as well, so live smelt has kind of been the deal. And then there was a handful of legal white sea bass taken out of the surf line from Santa Barbara all the way to Doheny down there. So short fish and then legal fish to maybe 35 inches, I think, was the best. So that's something to keep your eye on. Like I said, transitioning, not a lot of anglers, but like I said, the guys are plunking away. You see more barred perch, sargo, sculpin, sheephead, that sort of deal, even a couple Garibaldi. Hook, line, sinker reporter, a couple legal halibut, checked into the shop, a 34-inch fish taken off Black Rock. That was up by the Goleta Pier. That was on a Zoom fluke. That's another cooler water lure. Another 32-inch fish was taken at El Capitan on a flash minnow. The barred perch bite has also been best out west there. Refugio, Gaviota, El Capitan. 5 to 8 inch barred perch with a few kickers to 10 inch. Wiley's reported good mixed bag. Reef fishing. Guys are using cut squid, maybe market shrimp, stuff like that. Barred perch, sargo, small croakers, sheephead, sculpin, that sort of thing. Big fish reported. Slow fishing on the beaches there. Few quality halibut at the mouth of Alamitos and Huntington Harbor. Live smelt's been the ticket there in the cooler water. Several 30-inch class fish taken. There was some of those same quality fish also taken some of the San Diego lagoons. Hogan's reported mixed bag bite in Dana Point Harbor. One angler soaking cut squid had 2 Garibaldi. That's kind of rare. Real nice ones, too. Probably 3 pounds or better. 2 big sargo, a short sea bass, sculpin, rubber lip, and a short sea bass. And then there was a 35-inch white sea bass taken at Hole in the Fence, which is just below Doheny there on a hard jerkbait. So, wintertime transition, but still some halibut and these sea bass, that's something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, no kidding, man. That sounds like it's November and there's still places to catch. I know.
That's so rad.
Yeah. It's pretty rad stuff. Well, Gundy, you're the best. We appreciate you very much, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
All right, good show, gentlemen. We'll see you next week.
Thanks,
All right.
Gundy.
Thanks, Gundy. That wraps up our catch report.
You got it, man. And today, our catch report sponsored in part by the 2025 CCA Sport Fishing Calendar. It is out now, and you can find it at local tackle shops, at all the landing. It's full of amazing photographs, tide charts, important dates, trips to make you a better angler. You can find it at a store near you, or you can just order it at surffishtackle.com. When we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more great info with Captain Brandon Hayward of Bike Sport Fishing. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And at your San Diego County Ford dealers, you can find yours with the Ford F-150. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, the power to choose between gas, hybrid, or all-electric is yours. Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Only at your San Diego County Ford dealers, they'll be glad to hook you up.
Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena is the place to fill up your car, truck, and boat with the lowest gas and diesel prices. Did you know Summit is also the place to get the lowest prices on gourmet ice and snacks for your trip? $3.99 for 25 pounds of ice, as many as you want. That's half the price of others. Plus, you get 100 pounds of ice free with a 30-gallon fill. Kirkland products at lower prices than the store that makes them, plus dozens of great snacks for just 89 cents. They can now accommodate 24 cars and trucks to fuel at the same time, plus 12 diesel pumps, easy in and outs too. Step into the Summit Bistro and enjoy what Martha and her crew have for you. Fresh made burritos, sandwiches, salad, along with beer, beverages, and of course, always free ice. Summit Gasoline low prices, friendly staff, free ice, and easy in and out with your boat and trailer at the San Diego Sports Arena. Great fishing is what Seaforth Sports Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, Elgato Doe, Pride, Polaris Supreme, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Sports Grid Radio Network is the premier audio streaming channel dedicated to serving the massive sports wagering and fantasy audience. Found on the Sports Grid app and SiriusXM. Sports Grid's real-time data transforms viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Get the best in-game live coverage during all the games, as well as the most in-depth pre-game previews from hosts like Scott Farrell, Donnie Rightside, Ben Stevens, Gabe Morency, and many more. To find out where you can listen to Sports Grid, go to sportsgridradio.com. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Wait, a 40-pound white sea bass off an inflatable Hobie kayak? Tell me about that.
I'm Logan from Fastlane Kayaks on Mission Bay, and the whole story began when Ron Lane lent my parents some Hobie Mirage iTrex to put on their boat and take out to Catalina Island. That's when I borrowed the iTrek 11, threw it in my car, and drove down to Baja for a fishing and camping trip. Ended up landing a bucket list 40-pound white sea bass on the inflatable.
Dang, that sounds even better than our Mammoth trip, when we packed up the kayaks in the car, snowboarded all morning, then drove down to the lakes, launched the iTrex, and fished for trout all afternoon.
Honestly, the iTrek inflatables are the ultimate fishing platform. From trout in the Sierras, calicos at Catalina, and white sea bass in the Sea of Cortez, they can do it all.
And we've documented all these trips, so check out Fastlane Kayaks on Instagram to see more. And if you think you want a kayak, but you're on the fence, come down to our shop. We're right on Mission Bay, and we would be happy to throw one in the water and let you give it a try. So call Fastlane Kayaks to schedule a demo today.
Captain Jamie Tennis from Season Sport Fishing here. For the past few seasons, a dart-style metal jig has come into play in a big way for tuna offshore or even rockfish down deep. AFCO's crossbreed jig has quickly become the go-to for many since it came onto the market. AFCO's crossbreed jig is good to go right out of the package with a 4X treble hook, heavy-duty split rings, West Coast colors, and sizes 60 gram to 120 gram. Pick one up today at your local tackle store or learn more on AFCO.com.
And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock Cod, Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app. Sports Grid Radio Network, Facebook, YouTube Live, and of course 1090 AM. Pete Gray here along with Rock Cod, Rick Maxa in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup, surrounded by beautiful weather this morning and hopefully biting fish still too. And Brandon Hayward is here from Bite Sport Fishing. We've covered a lot of subjects today.
A lot of subjects.
We'll talk about swords, man. I like the sword thing.
It's good.
Swords.
Yeah, swords is cool. Like, swords is cool, and you guys do such a good job. The name is synonymous with it, and there was something that you had talked about earlier, and that one of the highlights of chartering a bite is the educational thing. And I just want to say, like, that's the thing that I recommend to people the most. You know, we get fortunate to have a lot of people come through the tackle store wanting to do the swordfish on their own, and like the problem is there's a ton of information that's available online, but 99% of it is for fisheries that are outside of ours. And there's little bits and pieces that help, but none of it is like the way we do it.
We don't have the Gulf Stream.
Yes.
We're not the Gulf of, we're not Louisiana.
We also don't
Gulf
have
of
to
Mexico.
run 80 miles.
Totally.
We don't fish on the bottom. You know, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like, so many of those fisheries are all about getting your bait on the bottom and keeping it on the bottom or keeping it very close to the bottom. And, you know, they fish in 2,000 feet of water. Well, you might be in 2,000 feet of water here, but your bites often are coming at 800 feet of water or 1,000 feet of water, halfway up or 3/4 the way down. it's just a different deal. And going with Jake or Dylan or Brandon, like you get the most advanced course, and it takes 1 or 2 trips with those guys to then have the knack down for yourself. It's rad. It's very fun fishery.
So I don't know. You saw Dave Pfeiffer took our other friend Paul Lepore out in South Carolina, out fishing swords, and Paul caught his first sword. It was 40 pounds. It was the cutest little thing. I mean, it was just a little thing. He was holding it up, and they let it go, of course. But yeah, I mean, they catch little ones there sometimes, an occasional big one.
Yeah.
Here you don't see that little stuff.
You don't. There's 2 stocks of fish. One comes from the Southwest in Hawaii, and one marches up the Mexican coastline. And you will see smaller Mexican fish, like Dylan's released them before. My smallest swordfish, I've caught a bigger sea bass.
Really?
My biggest sea bass is 82 pounds. My smallest sword is 74.
Did you keep it?
Pretty cool. Hell yeah, I kept it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it.
The customers did. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it's such a different fishery, and you can look to them for the way they rig baits and such, but it's totally different.
Yeah,
and we're still learning.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And a lot of great texts, a lot of great phone calls. Let's jump back in the phones, Rick.
You got it, man. If you want to get your shot to get through, again, give us a call. It's 213-432-1090. Not only that, but you can send us a text on that Let's Talk Hookup app. And again, like we mentioned, one lucky caller is going to get to do a full day trip on board the San Diego at a C4 Sport Fishing. We're going to jump back into it and talk to Todd. Todd's calling us from Costa Mesa this morning. Good morning, Todd. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I just had a question for Brandon and a shout-out. A couple years ago, I did the half sea bass, half lobster trip with Wes on the 28 Parker. And, man, what a great experience I had. It's the first time I've ever done something like that, little lunch break at the lobster trap. And we got some lobsters and some sea bass. And just a great time.
Neat.
Thanks for that.
That's a fun trip and a great way to break up your winter. Yeah, we'd love to have you again. What's your question?
I think just
this. We're coming up on halibut season. Yeah, and I guess my question is regarding how do you target the halibut? From the fish, the fish finder, sandy beaches. If you could give us a little intel on that, and then what's your favorite way to rig up a halibut rig? Is it a trap rig, bounce ball, and so forth?
Great question.
Thank you.
Those are great questions. We fish a lot of halibut the same way that we fish sea bass at the island, kind of mucky water and that type of stuff. So I can't speak to fishing local and in deep water and stuff like that. And a lot of times it's where the hard bottom butts up against the sand or some sort of a transition, And so once you have that mapped out on your plotter, and where those zones are, that's what we fish. And we'll kind of switch gears and switch things over and rig up, and we'll do like some sort of sliding weight type situation or some sort of reverse dropper loop. And so many different plays on halibut. Everyone has their way to do it. So we don't usually use the trap rig. I've messed around with it, but just like a 3-way swivel, reverse dropper loop, sliding type situation, do it like that. And we catch a ton fishing sea bass with a little lead head and casting into 2, 4, 6 fathoms or whatever, So that's our way.
You were set up on condition that you like and a piece of bottom that you like, but you had your option of having a sardine or a mackerel or a squid. Is there a preference that
I'd take the sardine or the smelt or something that's kind of flashy and covers some water for sure. Yeah.
So if you want to, like Todd, if you want to do one of those combo Catalina lobster sea bass trips, what's the story? When would you book?
I just booked one this morning for a group that's going to stay in Hamilton Cove.
Nice.
So they'll take the boat over with us, and we'll pay the wharfage fee, and then they'll go and stay at Hamilton, and then we'll fish them off the island. There's like 5 different ways to craft that trip. One is the straight ahead play, like I did out of Dana Wharf for a year, and like I did for years. You leave at 2 PM and you come back at midnight.
Oh.
And
that's a straight lobster.
That's a straight up lobster trip. And I decided this year I'm going to charge the same amount that I charged when I first started, $390 a person.
Really?
Let's go on the Mexicat.
On the Mexicat.
Totally.
Wow.
Click it back. You just
Out of
want to
Dana
do
Wharf.
lobster? No, I'll do that out of Long Beach. I like to be able to fish the west end of the island.
That's what's so rad about the Mexicat. You get to do things like nobody reduces prices these
Right.
days. That's such a cool.
It's really cool. My fuel bill will be 30 gallons. It was never like that before. So we're going to click it back. We're going to do straight lobster again. And then there's also the combo element or the overnight trip. My favorite trip is if you only have a day, if you can go on a Saturday, you take the pain and you leave at 3:30 in the morning, and you get over there for gray light and you catch your yellows or your sea bass or whatever you're going to do in the morning. Wintertime by 11 o'clock, I feel like you don't really get that midday fishing like the spring. So then slide into Avalon, take a break, take a nap, eat at the lobster trap. They just redid the lobster trap.
Oh, they
It's
did?
like, you won't even recognize the place. The boat's still there though. The back of the boat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But do that until 2 and then slide up and do lobster, and we'll give you everything we got. For some people, they're like, hey, let's do 2 sets and go in, and I want to function like a human. Other people are like, let's grind it until we get limits and go for it. We'll roll up our sleeves and do that for you too. Whatever.
Is that on the
whatever you wanna
Mexicat
do.
also?
We do that on the Freeman and the Mexicat.
Okay.
Yeah. What I actually did on the Freeman the last couple of years, it's a very expensive boat to run, but we've done in January and maybe early February, we do 2 trips a day. We leave early at 4, we get back at 2, and then we do another one where we turn and burn and go back and do it. So one's for the morning fishing set, and one's for the afternoon lobster, little bit of fishing set.
You just repowered that Freeman with Yamaha 425s?
450s.
450s.
So Yamaha made the 425 a 450. We're going to hit 1,000 hours on this afternoon when you come out with me. We do swords, if I can share that with the world.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're going to hit 1,000 hours, and that engine has been flawless. Every Yamaha I've owned up has been an
Yamaha's
incredible
the best.
engine. Incredible
It's the
engine.
best.
I put 7,000 hours on that Mexicat one, and it's still going strong when I sold it. Or I'm sorry, on the Maritime.
Maritime. Yeah.
So
How about 1,000 hours with nothing? No issue.
no
nothing.
issues. And know what's insane about that boat, especially from a charter perspective? You can do the lowers in the water.
With the 450s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to haul out.
Wow. How fast does that Freeman go?
I had it going 60 in the bay with my kids.
Nice.
You're going to go 60 this afternoon. You just
I'm
don't know it
scared.
yet.
I'm a little scared.
You better bring an extra Let's Talk Hookup hat.
Yeah. I think I better bring lots
Extra
of clothes,
extra
right?
pair of pantalones.
Yeah. I would say I put the long one. I'm going to dress like I'm in Montana, I guess. Maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that sounds like fun. But
a
what I'm
comfortable-
excited
a
about,
comfortable cruise is 40.
Yeah. What I'm excited about doing that is exactly what we were talking about, is learning
Mm-hmm.
how. I've done it several times and caught nothing.
Right.
So I'm ready to kind of learn from the master about how to really do this properly.
I want to watch you catch one. I'd
Yeah.
get more satisfaction out of that than catching one myself.
Do I have to roll it in?
We'll take turns.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I was gonna say you button pushing or you handle turning.
I think-
There's no shame in
Yeah.
Rock Cod's game.
The
I got
wi-
no.
The wild part is I have electric reels and I have hand crank reels that we use a drill, so you don't have to wind up, right?
Uh-huh.
But when it came time to dust off the sword gear this year, I'm like, we have to use 80s. The grade of the fish.
Yeah, there's that, yeah.
And when
It's
you
not
hook
'cause of
one-
line capacity.
Totally. And when you hook one on the tip, you drive off to your buoy to pull it so you don't tangle, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you have to let line out and dump line. Like, dude, if we hook a 400
Right.
or 500 pounder, my theory of fishing was always whatever gear you put in the water, you have to be ready for the top end of the range of fish you can
Yes,
hook.
sure.
So old school long range fishing, you can use an accurate 12, but you might hook a 380 and lose it all, right?
Right.
Same thing with sea bass. Why are we using 80-pound test in the kelp? Because we're fishing for 70 pounders. And now with sword, you're fishing for a 400 plus pound
Yeah.
fish.
Crazy.
It's wild. So yeah, we're
I'm a
gonna
little
use
scared.
we're gonna use the Tiagra 80 wides this afternoon.
Whoa.
And we're gonna have at it.
Whoa. Okay.
It's a 500 pounder.
All right. But people can do that. I mean, that's what you do. You take people out, you teach them, you have the
Absolutely.
experience. It's not a guarantee. We
No,
may
fish-
not even get a bite. We may just be out there eating Point Loma seafoods and
Exactly.
enjoying a cerveza or something and just hanging
I
out.
operate in a landscape where a lot of people overpromise and underdeliver. And
Yeah.
I'm a realist. I tell people with the sea bass, the everything. Like
Yeah.
this is a big ask. We're trying to do something in a day where if you were going to go to New Zealand or Tasmania, you'd give it 3 days.
Right.
That's just how it is in California.
Yeah.
People don't view fishing through the lenses like when they're traveling.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't control the fishing. You can't control so much in life, but you can control the customer service and you can make sure a guy walks off the boat with more knowledge than he stepped on with.
That's cool.
Whether it's how to cast and kind of twist his wrist around or put a
Yeah.
little bit of water on the spool, whatever it is.
Yeah.
A guy comes out with us, he's going to walk off the boat with more knowledge. And I've really pounded that into the guys.
No,
over the
that's
years.
good.
Yep.
And so if somebody wants to do that, if somebody wants to do a sword trip with you, if somebody
Yeah.
wants to do the Catalina lobster,
Yeah.
how do you book it?
I have 3 days open next week on the Mexicat. You could just
Down
call
here
us.
in San Diego?
Down here. Yep. Down here. I have a guy on the 15th who wants to split a trip with somebody.
Oh,
if
there
you
you
want
go.
to split a trip and not have 3 or 4 people, or you can do your own charter, just call us. Easy to find. Bite Sport Fishing. Google it or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
BiteSportsFishing.com.
Yep.
BIGHT sportfishing.com.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very
That's
good. You have a great text. huh?
I did, yeah. In terms of us talking sword fishing, is hey, I'm super curious about this. My question is the end game of sword fishing. Where do you plant the gaff on a sword to get it to the boat? Do you go in first with a straight gaff, or do you go in first with the flyer? That's from Huey and Torrance.
Good questions.
You gotta, if you get a shot, you gotta take that shot, right? So that might mean reaching out with the long gaff and getting a gaff in it and then hitting it with the flyer. The flying gaffs are short. We have longer ones, custom longer ones that Dylan made. But you got to take your shot, man. Because if you don't take your shot, you have a chance of losing it. I went as an angler with Jake, hooked one the other day, and that thing was up flagging on the surface 35 feet from the boat before we lost it. You know what I mean? Like, you lose so many of them close end game.
And
so
when you stick a gaff in it, do they flip out?
they're like any fish. It's like a bluefin or anything.
Yeah.
Some of them are docile and other ones you're going to school, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, take the first shot and aim for the shoulder like anything. It's a soft fish. That's what the soft fish. And you pick them up by the face, like you can rip the whole face off. That's why we pull so many hooks. Yep.
One thing too is, we hear a lot of problems. We get the tales of woe. I think a lot of guys maybe make a mistake trying to use the flying gaff first, especially people who have never used a flying, which is 90% of us. I mean, we don't use
not an
flying
easy
gaffs
gaff to
every
use.
day
It isn't.
out here. It's a technique thing, and I think a lot of times, especially if you have the luxury of having two people able to stick a gaff in them, I think all of us have used a straight gaff a whole bunch of times, and most people haven't used a flyer. And if you've just got the flyer as the backup man, like the first guy hits it and brings the fish to the boat, and if it's a docile one, then you can take all the time you need to then really position that flyer well and put it into the fish. And even if it's going 8, you can still reach in just the same, but you're not relying on that and then having the head fall off or not penetrate, or you hit it in the wrong spot, or you didn't realize that zip tie was just there to hold the hook and for a retail reason, and not there's so many things that can and do go wrong with the flyer. I think going in with the straight gaff first just solves some of the problems, unless it goes wild. And pros and cons to everything. Like,
totally. And
no, you're right. I mean, if you did hit with the straight gaff and it went crazy, and you done that with the flyer and it was attached to the boat, then maybe you got that one and it didn't. So
in seasons past, that we call those 150s, like stalker grade, a couple of years, that was like our average sword. You can treat that fish like a tuna.
Yeah.
If you have three guys who
but
are
if you
capable
see a
and
400
know
or
what's
500
up,
pounder, it's like it's a little different deal.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's got to be scary when that.
It's so gnarly that you can go fishing in California, have a shot
Have
at
a shot at a
400
trophy.
pound fish.
Yeah.
trophy. The 300 pounder that Neil and Blake and I got years ago, it broke 2 of the gaffs that we had. It ripped off all the gaffs multiple times. We had 3 big guys that all had straight gaffs into it multiple times, and it was still able to rip off of all of them and then swim away.
But that was a surface sword, right?
And then continue to fight us.
That was a surface one.
But I just mean to the nature of how tough those things are.
But I'm wondering if, and Brandon probably can speak to this, are the surface ones tougher than the ones you catch from the deep? Are the ones in the deep? Or
I think the ones from the deep after the 3-hour mark become a surface sword. They've accumulated. Dylan chased one for 8 hours, at no point had control over it.
Yeah.
Story from last week. Kid had one on for 12 hours. Like, it's just
12
such an
hours?
incredible beast. You get a shot around 1 hour and 45, around 2.5 hours on the deep drop swords, where if you can kind of manipulate things, you can kind of hopefully get them and they haven't totally woken up. But yeah, once your battle goes into that longer phase and everything, you're up against it a little bit. Yeah.
Ooh.
They're so tough. That's what makes them so cool.
Just badass.
And
the baddest ass of the sea, man. Totally.
A lot of people, there was this debate,
Gladiator
surface sword and deep drop, and a deep drop isn't a sword. Who freaking cares,
Oh,
man?
dude.
They have different characteristics.
Yeah.
They do something different. You know what's really freaking cool? Catching them either way. Who cares what your opinion is? You're catching a swordfish, and when you hook them on deep drop, you go slack, and then 30 seconds later, there's a 300+ pound fish jumping in a totally different direction of your line.
Yeah,
exactly.
From 1,600 feet down or
It's
1,000
insane.
feet
now
down.
imagine that happening with the Avalon Casino in the background.
Yeah.
Like, the sights
How
are
cool
pretty
is that,
incredible
huh?
with that fish.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's jump on the phones. They're packed. They want to talk to Brandon.
Kaya from Point Loma's up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Kaya.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's good.
I have a swordfish question for Brandon.
Let's go.
All right.
I know her, by the way.
Oh, you
everyone.
do?
Yeah.
I've been a few times, and I've witnessed various tip bites. But I just have to know, what is your preferred tease method?
Ooh, what a question.
The preferred.
You gotta come on the boat to see that.
The preferred
I
what?
don't want to answer that right now.
There you go.
The preferred what?
The preferred tease method. So
Tease
there's 2
method.
schools of thought. One is you can just leave the bait there and let them whack it around, and the
Uh-huh.
other is you can do the East Coast style, where you drop the bait, lift the bait up, and do certain things. So proprietary information. We're going to leave that one alone.
Yeah, you got to go on a charter and figure that out. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Nice to hear from you. Appreciate that. Hey, Gary from Huntington Beach says, good morning, Pete, Rick, and Brandon. Our group has fished with Captain West last several years and had some fantastic fishing. Do you run swordfish trips from Long Beach, and what time of year is best? And if I were to try sword fishing on my own, what gaffs would I have safely to land one? Flying gaffs, I presume, are how we already covered the gaff kind of thing already. But what about, do you do trips out of Long Beach? And when is the best time?
We do. I've caught double-digit swords on, I'll just say this part, an individual rock off the east end of Catalina Island. That's kind of was my go-to the first couple of years. Different styles to this fishery, open water and such. So we do trips up there. Yeah. Especially when they're biting.
Well, look at Bill from PCS, man. That guy's like he just goes out and puts it in drive, stops on his place, and then catches one.
Jumping in the boat.
It's like, what is that all about?
Exactly.
Right?
So yeah, no, they're everywhere. They're all over. So and I have a friend who caught one up there, and there's been a little bit of fish up there. So we definitely do those trips up there. It's nice because you can splice in Catalina and all that. And in terms of gaffs, I would get the biggest, meanest AFCO gaff you could.
Yeah, they make a really big, mean flying
They make
gaff.
Incredible hardware products.
Yeah, their hardware is unbelievable. Those gaffs. How long of a gaff? If you have a 25-foot boat, and based on what we just talked about, I'd have a flying gaff,
I'd have
and
a
then
30-foot flying gaff.
And then how long of a second gaff? How long, like a straight gaff?
Yeah, I'd have my long gaff
as long as possible.
15, 12, like a big long one to reach out. And the longest flyer you can buy off the shelf, I think, is 8. Is it 8 feet or?
It's tough. So the reason most of them it's 6 feet is like the standard flyer, and the reason is because of IGFA regulations. So like AFTCO makes the flying gaff that most people buy, and AFTCO only makes a 6-foot handle because of IGFA reasons. Like they don't want a guy to have an 8-foot flying gaff handle takes you out of IGFA legality. Who cares? Is my, I could care less about that, but they're not about to cause somebody their world record because they sold them too long of a handle. With that said, the reason you did exactly what you did, you custom make longer ones. You take IGFA contention out of it, but a swordfish shoulder on the grill is a whole lot more important than being compliant or
IGFA,
not. But that's the problem. That's why you see most fly gaff handles are 6 feet in length for reasons of IGFA.
Yeah,
gotcha. All right. Hey, let's find out what's biting with our fishdope.com reporter, Yosef from the Anglers Realtor. Good morning, Yosef. And go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I was just going to say that catch report, it is sponsored by Fisherman's Processing. The Fish Pros, what more can you say about those guys? Yeah. So busy, such high professionalism. It's where you go to get that premier processing experience. You can check out their easier online system for your processing orders, for your long-range trips. With more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity, the finest customer service. You can stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or check fishermansprocessing.com and be sure to make that reservation today. We got Yusuf on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Yusuf.
Well, not a lot going on right now. Getting into kind of winter mode here with the fishing. Start up north with Santa Cruz. There's still lots of squid on it. They're pretty plugged. Not a lot biting, but they're there. One thing that did pop up is some barracuda around Point Foreman in the San Pedro area, which is a little late in the season, in my opinion, but that's awesome. We still have a little bit of yellowfin near SCI on dolphins. They're moving super fast, and they don't really want to bite. One guy out there chasing them around yesterday, and I think he got one or two, Danny said, but it's slim pickings for the most part, and the weather was really rough. Yellowfin down south near Cold Net, the weather was great down there over the weekend. Coming home, not so much, but they did good. Coming up the line is very slow, 6 knots, from what Danny said, that he was getting, checking out all the boats coming up, but they're all coming up a little bit late from the weather. But down south, it was beautiful. And I guess the elephant fishing was still, going.
Yeah, I mean, it's November. Things are winding down, but there's still fish to catch, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Get down there off San Martin or, Colonet area, and there's still lots of opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, fishdope.com, $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code Hookup Now, lowercase, no space. Hookup Now is your $30 code. And somebody wants to work with the master realtor of San Diego, Joseph. How do we find you, Joseph?
You can give me a call. My cell phone, 619-277-2169. Shoot me a text. You can get me on social media at Cal Realty on Instagram and Facebook. If you need an evaluation on your home, go to SoCalHomeEval.com and we'll give you an instant home evaluation.
Yeah, and no obligations. Just put it in there. I did it with my house.
We don't bother you. We don't call you on the weekends asking you to sell. We just are here for you when you need us.
Gotta love that. SoCalHomeEval.com.
You got it.
All right. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate that, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate it, buddy. Hey, want to remind us that report sponsored in part by Norrisk Lithium Batteries. They are here in Southern California, designed specifically for marine use. Norrisk Lithium features prismatic cells for extreme durability, solid connections, longevity, and reliability. The Norrisk Guardian Advanced Battery Management System allows you to monitor the health and the charging status by using an app on your phone. Norrisk also makes a complete line of kayak and electric reel batteries. Make the investment in the best for your boat when it comes to batteries, and that's Norrisk Lithium. Check NorriskLithium.com or go see the Trolling Motor Doctor or Anglers Marine at both their Lakeside and Anaheim locations for your Norrisk Lithium batteries.
Hey, Stephen Fallbrook says, good morning, great show. What do you do as far as fish handling? Do you gill and gut, fillet larger fish, or send them to the processor? It's a good question.
Great question. We do all of the above. We gill, gut, ikejime, do the whole thing on our big fish. The nice thing about running out of the landing when we're down here is that the whatever processor you want just grabs them off the boat in the morning. So we make a nice slush.
Nice is that?
Get a little ice cream salt in there, bring it down to temp. So fish care is a huge thing for us. Smaller fish, your sea bass, or if you don't want to pay for processing, it's something we do, and we include it in the price.
Do you
There's no
really?
extra charge. So yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So we'll do it for you, or you can have the processor do it. And I've ran trips up north and ran our fish. Jake lives down here. He'll run people's fish down to the processor for them. So whatever people want, we'll do that.
Now, I've heard it said you have to scrub the inside of the belly of a swordfish. Is that true?
Yeah, there's a whole step that Dylan's a master at as well, and scrubbing them out and cleaning them down and doing all of it. And that fish wants to live on ice for a while. A while before you cut it, like 3 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So how do you leave it on ice? You cut the bill off, you cut the tail off?
We just make it a big flesh log, cut the tail off, cut the head off at the dock and all that other stuff, and just pack it on ice.
Pack it.
If the processor grabs it, we tell them, hey, leave it in the walk-in for a couple of days for the guys.
Gotcha.
What's wild, too, is those things will burn through ice right off the bat, too.
Right.
Like, so much more than a tuna does. Like, if you put them in there, like, I was just blown away at, we're used to having a bluefin of the same size, and, you get them all hollow and put ice in the belly, and it is what it is, and your ice lasts pretty long. I couldn't believe how fast we burn through ice.
Where's it going?
Swordfish. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why is that, you think?
It's just such a different animal. Dude.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's possessed.
It's possessed.
They're just
possessed.
You said it best. They're just badass.
Yes,
Man. They're
badass.
tough in every way. Even if you cut their head and tail off and put them in a kill bag, they're still tough.
Yeah.
They're just cool fish.
Well, let's jump back in the phones.
You got it, man. How about this time we talk to Sean? Sean's calling us from Irvine this morning. Hey, Sean, welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. Sam, excuse me. Sorry, Sam.
Sam.
Good morning. Hey, Brandon, good to hear your voice.
Hey, Sam.
I'm happy to hear the Mexicats. Are you going to use those Mexicats for swordfish as well, or is that going to be an island boat? I know you got those, and I'm hoping to get out on one here pretty soon.
Yeah. So that Mexicat, we built that boat with swordfish in mind. Swiveling rod holders, Gemlux products. It has the same hardware and the same outfitting as the Freeman. So yeah, that boat's very, very, very much built for swordfish. The design of it, all of it. So yeah, we built that thing keeping swordfish in mind, and the bow of it. That boat rides. Things with cats is weight is a consideration, right? How do you want your weight? So Dylan got one on there, and that thing with a 230-pound sword up in the bow ran better than it did with no weight up there.
Really?
So really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that thing is sword ready for sure.
Okay, sword ready, lobster ready, sea bass ready,
All of
bluefin
it.
ready.
All of it. That boat's going to fish beautifully, and 12 feet of water at Catalina.
Nice.
Yeah.
And be able to do it economically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
a nice,
Keep the price down.
And a nice ride. Yeah.
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 Because gas is a factor these days.
What's the problem right now? Everyone's feeling the pinch of things costing more, right? Everyone in the small boat industry, I charged more than anyone for years because I knew what things cost.
Right.
Everyone's hit the ceiling.
Right.
And so now it's like, how do we make it so that fishing's a little bit more affordable for the small boat guys?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming here, including more of your phone calls and texts. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Been thinking of purchasing a new outboard? Don't delay and purchase a brand new Yamaha outboard and a great deal during Yamaha's Wide Awake for Spring sales event. From now until December 6, 2024, eligible new 25 to 2.5 horsepower outboards come with up to $500 in dealer credit. New Yamaha 450 to 425 horsepower outboards include 7 years of coverage protection, and new 350 to 30 horsepower outboards come with 6 years of coverage protection. No need to delay during Yamaha's Wide Awake for Spring sales event. Visit your local Yamaha dealer today. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Offers December 6, 2024. Subject to change, other restrictions and conditions apply. What models included? New 2.5 to 25 horsepower four-stroke outboards is dealer credit up to $500 based on horsepower. Towards MSRP value of goods and/or services purchased at the authorized participating dealer that sold the outboard at no extra cost to consumer. New 425 to 450 horsepower is a 24-month Yamaha extended added 60-month factory limited warranty. New 30 to 350 horsepower is a 36-month Yamaha extended service added to 36-month factory limited warranty. The authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealer for detail. Cannot be used with any other Yamaha outboard. The best just got better. Shimano is proud to introduce the all-new Talica 20A and 25A reels. The Talica series is Shimano's flagship two-speed lever drag reel. It sits at the very pinnacle of the offshore world. The Shimano's Talica success is driven by its durability and spec attributes, allowing the series to differentiate from other lever drag reels within the market. The Talica is built around a cold-forged machined aluminum one-piece frame. The all-new Talica 20A and 25A now boasts Infinity Drive. Infinity Drive employs 2 drag washers housed in the side of the reel, allowing for an ultra-smooth, powerful drag system, while at the same time increasing winding power under a load as much as 40%. There's also a new lower low gear. If your utmost concern is performance without compromise, Talica 20A and 25A are the reels for you. Available now at your local Shimano dealer.
Quality, the Islander out of Fisherman's Landing is a favorite among anglers. But Islander Charters is much more than great fishing. The quality of the captains and crew, as well as the great meals and service, speak for themselves. Comfortable staterooms, a super clean and well taken care of boat are just a few of the reasons the Islander is so popular. The Islander specializes in 1.5 to 5 day fishing. Experience the Islander difference. Visit IslanderSportFishing.com.
I've had the opportunity to fish many places in many different types of water, but never have I fished a place as much fun as Katmai Lodge in Alaska. Hello, my name is Harold Davis, typically fishing in the ocean, but this is an experience that you have to try for yourself. Fish natural rivers with tens of thousands of fish coming up. And they have all the gear: spinning, bait casting, fly rods, kings, silvers, pinks, sockeyes, and my favorite, the chums. Outstanding food, outstanding accommodations, great service. The lodge is located in the beautiful Katmai National Park, filled with amazing wildlife. Brown bears, moose, eagles, otters, and it has spectacular scenery. And also the fact that the lodge is located right on the Alagnak River and your boat is just steps away from your room makes it great. Do yourself a favor. Call Charmel at 1-800-330-0326 or go online, katmai.com. And like Pete says, they will hook you up.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. What a great show this has been so far. Still plenty of time to get through. If you want to join us this morning, 213-432-1090 is the way you get us on the phone, or keep those texts rolling through on the Let's Talk Hookup app.
Let's go down to La Paz and talk to our good buddy, Eddie Dama. Good morning, Eddie.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, good morning, Pete, Rick, Brandon. How are you?
Doing good,
Great.
buddy. How are you?
So great to hear from you. We miss you.
Yeah, it's been way too long. You know, Pete, it's kind of like a blast from the past talking to you right now because, you know, when I first started in this industry 23 years ago, Rick Maxa was my first Western Outdoor News rep that I ever had. And shortly after that, Brandon was my rep there at Western Outdoor News. So it's great to be on with you guys.
Wow. You're really talking old school. Yes. Yeah. Of course, after your long long stint down with the Van Wormer Resorts. Now you've moved north just a little bit, and you're now operating out of La Paz, right?
Yeah, after 23 years down in East Cape, I wanted to make a change, and so I went looking for a good quality operation that I felt comfortable repping and selling fishing trips to, and I came across Baja Pirates. I've known Leonard Phillips, the owner of Baja Pirates, for about 15 years now, and so I hooked up with him, and they've got a quality operation up here. They sell complete fishing trips where we book your hotel, your fishing. Their packages include everything. So what's great about these guys is, it's a one-stop shop. We, for one price, it includes your hotel, your fishing, your breakfast, your lunch on the boat, even your water on the boat's included. Your fish processing is included. Your fishing license is included for the same price. And then also your transfers, your ground transfers from the La Paz airport. If you do go into Cabo, it's a little bit more, but from La Paz, it is included. And the great thing is that starting later this month, Alaska Airlines is going to start flying from LA into La Paz. So that's going to help us tremendously. And out of San Diego, there's always, you can go TJ to La Paz. They got some really affordable flights out of Volaris if you just take the PDX across and fly out of TJ. So a lot of great options. And what really drew me to Baja Pirates, not only do they have a La Paz operation, they also have a Mag Bay operation, and that's something that really piqued my interest. I have a lot of clients that have really wanted to fish Mag Bay for a long time, but they just didn't know how to put the packages together. They were like, well, how do we do it? We got to book hotel, we got to book fishing, how do we get there? So Baja Pirates is one of the first operators that I know of that has actually put the whole package for you together. And basically, all you have to do is fly into Laredo, and we take care of the rest. And we pick you up. We have hotel accommodations there. We have a fishing fleet there. And again, it includes everything. It includes all your meals, includes your fishing, hotel, and fish processing, fishing license, ground transportation. Everything's included. And I'm sure you guys have fished Mag Bay before. It's an incredible fishery there. It's kind of rustic, but very clean, air-conditioned rooms, internet, everything is available to you, and the fishing there is just next level. So it's a great operation, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and is that Mag Bay operation, is it both inshore and offshore fishing in Mag Bay?
Yeah, we're headquartered in Lopez Mateo in Mag Bay, and they have the incredible mangroves there. It's about 100 miles of mangroves. I went out about a month ago out there, and man, what a fishery. I mean, inside it's flat calm. It's like fishing on a lake, and you're fishing for grouper. You're fishing for big snook, which is incredible fishing there. So you've got your snappers as well, a lot of red snapper there. You've got some white sea bass there as well. And then you've got your offshore. So you go out of the mouth there and you go offshore, and you've got an incredible tuna bite that's going off right now. And they've got, marlin, and they've got your blue marlin, your striped marlin, your sailfish, yellowfin tuna, dorado. So a lot of great fishing offshore. Wahoo is one of the best fisheries of wahoo anywhere offshore. And then what's great is even if the wind blows, you never have a cancel day, because if the wind blows, you stay in the mangroves and fish there for snapper and grouper and cabria and snook. And then if the winds lay down, then you go offshore and you can go and get some yellowfin tuna, dorado, marlin, and wahoo. So
wow, what a fishery!
Really, really piqued my interest, and we've had clients there for the last few weeks, and the pictures that I'm getting from the captain, just incredible amounts of fish that are being caught right now. So it's something that if you've never looked into it, definitely check it out. And it's an incredible fishery. And of course, La Paz is really known for their springtime fishing. They have an incredible springtime yellowtail bite where you can get yellowtail and you can get grouper and cabria and snapper as well. Our good friend, our late great friend, Mark Doherty, he used to bring a lot of clients to the East Cape, and he would always go for his springtime fishing in April for his yellowtail fishing in La Paz. Even though he loved East Cape, that was where he would go for yellowtail. And that's what they're really known for, is an incredible yellowtail bite in that spring, that March, April, May, June. We had yellowtail all the way into July this year, so it's a great fishery.
Oh, man. And that Cubera snapper fishing, too, is pretty insane in that area, too.
We just got one last week, and it was so good to eat, man.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it was incredible.
Good stuff. So, Eddie, and the one thing about La Paz, too, is it's so affordable, too. I mean, there's everything's going up. And La Paz, Brandon, you know, La Paz is like old world Mexico, the last of old world Mexico, it seems like.
It is. I kept a skiff there for five years. I could go anywhere in Mexico. That was the place, and it's very cosmopolitan, European type feel, and it's really unique.
Yeah,
really unique.
It's a pretty cool place. So Eddie, if somebody wants, go ahead.
The beautiful thing about La Paz here is you can go. Like I said, everything's included pretty much. Your breakfast, your lunch, your fish processing, all that. And for like a 5-day, 4-night, 3-day fishing, you're looking at about $1,365 per person, and it includes all that. So it includes your breakfast, your lunch, your fishing, your hotel accommodation, your airport transfers, your fish processing, your fishing license, water on the boat. So very, very affordable. The Malecon in La Paz is a beautiful, lots of bars and restaurants. So it's definitely a great place to visit if you haven't been here.
Yeah. So how does somebody get a hold of you, Eddie, at Baja Pirates?
Yeah, so basically you can email me at eddie@BajaPiratesOfLaPaz.com, or you can call 866-454-5386.
And then is there a website?
Yeah, it's www.BajaPiratesOfLaPaz.com.
Of La Paz. Okay. All right. So make sure BajaPiratesOfLaPaz.com. Be sure to talk to Eddie. He's the man. He's taken care of us for so many years, and he knows how to take care of us people on this side of the border to go have a good time on the south of the border.
I'm blown away on how inexpensive that is.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Cheap.
Yeah, really cool, Eddie. We can't wait, and really, really happy for you, buddy.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Pete and Brandon. Thank you guys for having me on and letting me have a little time on your show, and I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks. And we'll have to get you up here in the studio sometime talking about it.
Would love to do that.
All right, Eddie. Say hi to Shannon. Nice talking to you. Appreciate the call this morning.
Great talking to you guys. You guys take care.
All right. Thanks.
Phones are packed. Same with the text. And we got a great text. Good morning, guys. First off, Tackle Day was such an awesome experience yesterday, and it was my birthday. It's always one of my have-to-do things. Thanks for putting together such a fun day. My question is for Brandon. I love this idea that you talked about heading over to Catalina for a getaway with my wife and throwing some fishing. Can you give me what you think the most ideal itinerary is from all the trips you've done to pair with the hotel? That's from Alex in San Carlos.
Good question. Great trip is whatever you want, but what I found is a nice leisurely cruise out, kind of mid-morning, lunchtime-ish, you know what I mean? Fish for a couple hours, maybe just catch some bonitas for your lobster bait with your wife and just kind of keep it mellow, you know? Or try to catch sea bass for an hour and a half. Go in, check into the hotel. My friends own several of the hotels there. I can help you out there. And then slide out that afternoon, do lobster, whether she wants to come. Yeah, sometimes wife, kids, friends want to come for one set of lobster. We do one set, and then we run them in, drop them back off, and then go put our gear back out, whatever you want to do. But that's a cool way to do it, kind of that day and a half thing. And then in the morning, get up early and try for gray light for a sea bass, or you can sleep in and be like, hey, we're going to fish the next afternoon, do lobster. So any of those options.
Yeah, that's the advantage is you'll design it to what to their pleasure.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's a great option. Leaving kind of early afternoon, doing it like that, making a whole trip out of it.
How long does it take you to get to the island from where you're positioned?
I've made it in 30 something minutes in the Freeman before. In the Mexico, it's less than an hour. No matter what the boat is, you can get there in less than an hour from Long Beach.
How long is it going to take us this afternoon to get to the swordfish spot?
21 minutes.
21 minutes. He knows
from
exactly.
the point. From the
end of the point.
Yeah, takes more time to go through the bay sometimes.
Yeah, because you can't go 60.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This bay, but like Newport, if you're in Newport,
takes
an
forever
hour to get through the bay, but half hour to get to the spot.
That's
so
rad.
for
I
sure.
love it.
Neat.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the phones, Rick.
How about we talk to Mike, who's calling us from Santa Barbara this morning. Good morning, Mike. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, and Brandon, Mike Kiyashima here. Good talking to you.
Hey, good morning.
To you about your boat this week.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for revolutionizing the small boat, big fish stack. It's amazing.
Oh, well.
My questions, most of them got answered, and I hope this didn't get asked before, but for your sortie pre-rigged, I'm not a huge fan of rigging them myself.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a go-to, and do you tweak them?
So we rig all our own baits. But any over-the-counter squid, the guys spend an hour rigging squid sometimes and such, And with that said, Biz and the guys that caught 400-pounders, they bought an over-the-counter squid from Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Just boom.
Yeah, what do you guys sell?
We sell two different styles. Bait Masters is the one that I like the most because it's just very clean, simple rigging, individually packed. There's also an outfit in Orange County called Boom Boom Baits, and we carry those also. So yeah, we have a couple of different options that we have in the shop.
If you want Gucci and you want to fish a belly strip, or you want something that's rigged by a sword master, RJ Boyle sells baits. You can get a host of different baits. The first swordfish that I caught, which was the first charter operation to catch a deep drop swordfish in 2019, I ordered squid and belly strips from RJ. All my swordfish gear from him. I called the shop and said, talk to me like I'm a fourth grader.
That?
It's in Florida.
Oh, okay.
It's in Florida. And he'll mail them out to you overnight. So you could buy 6 squid, 6 belly strip, whatever you want, and they're Gucci top tier baits. Yep, and you'll pay Gucci top tier prices. Yeah.
But you could buy it at Fisherman's Landing, or I know Dana Landing sells baits too.
The shipping is what gets you on those things. You know, we have to, you know, I mean, the baits are expensive. They're $50-$60 a piece.
Are they?
And it's just because,
but they're pre-rigged.
It's done. You know, I mean, that includes, you know, and that's one thing that people take, you know, that forget about is, you know, there's an $8 hook, and there's, you know, there's $5 or $10 worth of fluorocarbon, and then there's the labor of the guy that's sewing the hook to it. And more than anything, there's just the cost of getting it overnighted from Florida out here. But just, you know, you said it best, you know, Biz and those guys didn't want to take the chance of having a bait that was rigged inappropriately. Buy a bait master's, pin it on, $450 comes over the rail.
Yep.
And I mean, it's a great way to go.
It's not a picky fish. It's like a shark with a bill, right?
Yeah.
So they'll eat all sorts of stuff. It's just getting it where they are.
Yeah. RC, yesterday I was talking about his 425 pounder that he caught. He works in the shop with Rick, and he was talking about cutting the leader back on that pre-rig thing, because they come with giant leaders on them, right?
Yeah. Those guys were not anticipating having to wire the fish, you know, hand over hand. So all of a sudden the swivel got to it, and that was a you know, I mean, you exactly that. You know, I don't think that, at least for our fishery, like, get that fish to boat side or as close as you can. You know, we're fishing a heavy wind on leader. We don't need an additional 20 feet.
I bought a couple of those squids from the shop the other day. Like, it worked for them.
Yeah.
It's like Alan Watson always said, if they can catch them, we can.
Yeah, right.
So I just trimmed it up to 2 feet, 3
Totally,
feet, done. But yeah, don't slap the whole thing out there.
Gotcha.
Good tips.
I have Mike from Rosemead writes on our Let's Talk Hookup app, of course, the only place you can text the show. Good morning, guys. Brandon, can you describe in detail the fluke fishing for white sea bass? Color, weighted or not unweighted? Is it different from calico bass fishing?
Oh, good question. Very different. A lot of it is sight fishing. A lot of it is fishing outside the surf zone at the islands, Channel Islands, and visually seeing them and throwing the fluke to them. So you fish a 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce lead head, and then you pop it like you would like a pig and jig for bass or something like that. So that's one way to do it. You catch them blind casting, and you can catch them on just a dead stick fluke as well, like a squid. So a lot of different styles to that fishery, and that's kind of the new hot way to catch them.
Yeah. Hey, so John Christensen, our good buddy from Point Loma Seafoods, writes and says that if we don't catch one today, we can go to Point Loma Seafoods, because he just got a beautiful 220 pounder that was headed in H&G, I guess, headed and gutted.
Oh, nice.
220. So that would be probably a 300
I walk over
pounder.
there sometimes just to look in the case.
Yeah.
Because the fish is so pretty.
It's
like
so good.
My bluefin never looks like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll take a piece of that shoulder fillet there, John.
There you go.
Hey, let's go live to the tribute. Captain Mike Pritchard is on the line right now. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
Hey,
Good morning.
So yeah, we actually got in early from a day and a half charter last night. Our group opted to play fair weather and stay out of the funk. So we ended up going to Thanksgiving Island and had really good fishing. Some mixed whitefish, rockfish, reds, sheephead. It worked out really great for our charter group, but we got a really nice stretch of weather coming up here, and it's going to be a nice change of pace from what it's been the last week or so with this westerly wind we've had.
Yeah, that's cool. And this week it's kind of like a mild Santa Ana condition, right? Which means flat calm, right?
Yeah. For at least the next week and a half, it looks like it's going to completely change. I mean, that yellowfin down the beach is great. Unfortunately, it's getting. If it keeps going the direction it's going, it's going to be hanging out with great whites at Guadalupe Island. It's getting to the point where it's actually out of reach for a lot of the Zone 1 charter boats and stuff here. I mean, hopefully that pushes back up, but I think we're going to start seeing pretty good bluefin fishing again here, like we've had for the last several years in our fall.
Wow, that's good. So, what's the schedule on tribute?
We have trips throughout the week. We we are sold out for the weekend, but like I this nice change in weather, I think you're going to start seeing down starting to show back up in our, in our, I guess we'll call it our local fishery now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They live here.
For sure. That's a good thing. So, so go ahead.
Friday night sold out. Sunday night, our Pete Sports sponsored trips are always great. It looks like that might be a good possibility to get out. And then we do have some stuff here throughout the week, but I think we might take advantage and do some maintenance just for the simple fact that I think we ran every month of the year so far.
Wow. Pretty awesome. Well, if somebody wants to book a trip on the Tribute, how do we do it?
Give Seaforth a call, 619-224-3383, seaforthlanding.com, tributesportfishing.com. I know we're going to be in a group doing a charity event Friday afternoon. A bunch of different boats involved with that one, and then Friday night we'll be out for another trip, and we'll hopefully have some good reports for you. But I don't think this falls over by a long shot. It's great to see something other than 10 foot 20 knots in the forecast.
No
doubt, buddy.
For sure. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Always appreciate your live reports from the Tribute out of C4 Sport Fishing. We'll talk to you real soon.
Rumor has it I'll see you guys in about a week.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Definitely. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Thanks, Mike.
We'll see you guys then.
All right.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Mike.
Had a great text come through. It says, hey, guys, this is Steve from Escondido. As much as Brandon's boats get used, are there any maintenance hits for cleaning and maintaining the boat that you could drop on us? This year, I feel like I've done a little bit more cleaning than fishing. Great show, as always.
That's a great question. It's just a lot of upkeep, a lot of elbow grease, a lot of preventative maintenance, and it sounds like you're doing it. No kind of magic formula aside from just carving out the time to do it.
Yeah,
that's it, man.
Yeah, just got to do it.
Yep.
I was going to say, Brandon's boys are getting to the age where now we see him at the tackle store with him and the boys going down and doing work on the boat when the boat's in. So I can back up what he's saying. Like when the boat's not running, you guys are down there making sure that it's always tip top.
For sure. Everyone's time's worth something too. So delegating and having someone else do it is always good as well.
Yeah. Rory in Lakeside is a glutton for punishment.
Okay.
Good morning, guys. Great show. I want to start doing the nighttime sea bass thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Specifically, locally here in San Diego, what conditions are you looking for in the forecast before pulling an all-nighter?
Yeah.
Also, what are a couple setups for fishing in the dark?
Great question. That fish gets pegged as a night fish, and there's cycles where you catch everything at night. Like if I could have one time to fish for them in late June and July at Catalina, I'd switch over to night fishing for sure. And then sometimes it's all in the afternoon or gray. Local San Diego fishing at night, wintertime, something down towards the bottom, dropper loop, jig and squid, that type of stuff. When the water gets above 63, don't be afraid to fish up high. The bobber works really well. Instead of a balloon, it doesn't tangle up. You can cast it. So that float with that, I called it the floating hamburguesa. That's how I fished a lot from 2015 to 19 when we had a lot of that big local fish. So that's a way to do it for sure.
If you go to our YouTube channel, Let's Talk Hookup Radio Show, there's a video of Brandon showing you how to rig the Brandon bobber rig.
That's my favorite way to fish them when the water's warm.
And you learned that from steelhead fishing.
I did, yeah, in Sitka actually, Just kind of that's cool about fishing. You travel and see different things and get to bring it home and try it out.
Yeah,
yep.
And it works for sea bass.
Works great. Yeah, works great. Works for yellows too. Works for any time you want to keep your bait high. Because think about it,
fishing squid.
A lot of times you're like cast, recast. But what if we just keep our bait stuck in that spot?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup. We're going to find out who's got themselves a full day trip on the San Diego. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network. Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136, or check kingfishercharters.com. When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your San Diego County Ford dealers is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains, get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealers today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. What a great time. What a great show and lots of fun this morning.
Oh, my
Hey,
God.
it's time to find out who's going fishing on board the San Diego. Brandon's going to do us the honor of flipping that prize coin. See if we have a caller or
Yeah.
texter. Send it. Ooh, that's a solid flip.
That
If you
was
saw
a
for the
really
camera, That
solid
is how it's
flip.
done.
Yeah.
And we have a caller as our winner today. Congratulations to Todd in Costa Mesa. You are going fishing aboard the
Todd
San
in
Diego.
Costa Mesa.
Have a blast with Brawler
Hey,
and Booger. Congratulations.
All right, Brandon, it's such a good show.
Thanks for
The
having
thing
me.
about Brandon, and I've fished with him several times, I've learned so much, like sea bass fishing. I've never fished the swords with him, and so I'm really excited to learn.
Neat.
But when I went sea bass fishing with you, I learned so much. Or yellow fishing or whatever. You learn so much going fishing with Bite Sport Fishing, whether it be you, whether it be Jake, whether it be Dylan. All three of you guys are masters at your craft. And so if you have your own boat, I am going to encourage you, spend a day with these guys and you will take your fishing to the next level. I promise you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I promise you. So how do we do that?
Just give me a call. You can Google me or Google Bite Sport Fishing, find the phone number. And if you have a pen, it's 949-212-0719.
Yeah. Bite, B-I-G-H-T, sportfishing.com.
Like the Southern California Bite.
Yeah.
Bite Sport Fishing.
So if you want to, and you can kind of just talk to Brandon or email him, converse with him and just say, here's what I'm looking for. You'll design a trip for somebody.
Whatever people want to do. Absolutely.
Yeah. Whether it be lobsters, whether it be spending half a day lobster fishing, half a day hanging out in Avalon in the lobster trap or in your own hotel room. Take your wife, your girlfriend over there. Whether you want to do a hardcore all-nighter sea bass trip. You still do those?
Still do this.
Yeah.
Still do this.
You're an animal.
They got to be biting at night.
At
to
night.
do those.
Yeah,
If they're
yeah,
biting,
yeah,
I won't punish you unless they're actually biting at night.
And that's the thing. He's not going to take you to go just sit there.
Dude, let me
He's
comment
gonna
on that real
yeah.
fast. Yeah. I can't tell you how many customers we've had that said, hey, man, Brandon called me and just said it's just not worth taking your money to just take you on this trip. Like, you could have so many times hear that story like, hey, we're just going to go and give it a shot.
Right.
But you don't do that.
I would have had two Freemans if I just had taken it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you'll tell him. I mean, if you book
Absolutely.
a trip and it's you call him and just say, hey, dude, it's not right. Let's
Everyone
rebook.
wants to control and barter with Mother Nature. And I went this many times and this happened and try to twist the fate of everything.
Yeah.
You can't control it. If she's not going to give you what you need, you have to
Yeah.
find another time, whether that's current, water temperature, weather, whatever. Just because you took Friday off, homie, doesn't mean that she's going to kind of give it to
Cooperate
you.
with you. Yeah. What's harder, sea bass fishing or swordfish fishing?
In terms of conditions lining up for your benefit,
Yes.
I'm going to say sea bass.
Yeah.
Because you can use tools with swordfish, water temperatures, and these types of things that with sea bass, you have to be there in the exact moment for this current's going
For
this
this
way
thing
or
to
whatever.
happen.
You have more tools at your disposal. And swordfish, even though it gets zooed out and crowded, sea bass, someone can be on, quote, your spot, and you can't anchor, and you have to watch, even though you're there the last 5 days.
Oh.
Swordfish is miles and blocks, like offshore fishing,
Yeah.
and tuna. Sea bass is inches and feet.
Inches and feet. Wow.
Yeah.
That technical.
Oh, yeah.
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 And you'll teach people that. You'll teach them what tools to use and stuff.
Absolutely. I used to be really secretive, but I'm pretty much an open book in my old age.
Yeah, in
Yep.
your old age,
Yep.
right? Your ripe old age.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah,
Appreciate
sure.
that. Again, bitesportfishing.com. And thanks to JP for manning the phones. And thanks, of course, to Adam for manning the app and all he does on the Let's Talk Hookup app and website. Appreciate you. And of course, appreciate you out there, our callers, our texters, our listeners. We're very appreciative of you guys all out there. Rick and I will be back next Saturday. Todd Swede, marine surveyor and author. He wrote a really fascinating book. It's going to be an interesting show. These guys got crazy stories, and that's going to be fun next Saturday. Next Sunday, Captain Andy Cates from the Red Rooster 3. That's going to be fun, too. See you next week, right back here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, 1090 AM, and YouTube and Facebook Live.
Good stuff today, guys.
Thanks, JP. Talk to you next
for those
week.
early issues, but we got them solved.
Oh, no worries, man.
Cool.
Thanks very
You
much.
wanna work? What do you
Okay.
do?
All right.
Yes.
All right. Talk to you next week.